decided on its game. Oh, we're tuned into you.
What a great way to start the high school season for 1991 and to watch two great Creek County rivals. The Sapulpa Chieftains trying to get back into the playoffs after a very successful 1990 in which they went 6-4. And for the Bristow Purple Pirates under Bill Scott, going for their 10th district championship in the last 11 years and trying to break the Sapulpa 3-game winning streak against Bristow.
This cable exclusive presentation is brought to you in part by the Williams Companies, by Arby's, by Children's Medical Center, by Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center, and by Oklahoma Junior College.
Welcome to George F. Collins Junior Stadium in Sapulpa, the county seat of Creek County, as the Bristow Purple Pirates, number 2 in Class 3A, get ready to take on their arch rival, the Sapulpa Chieftains. Hello again, Don King along with my partner J.B. Haney as we get ready to kick off the 1991 fall schedule of high school sports on Channel 3. Couldn't get for a much better rivalry than this. Sapulpa and Bristow as they get ready for their 16th meeting. For the Chieftains last year, J.B., they went 6-4 but lost a lot of players from last season.
They really did, Don. In a game like this, there's so much of a rivalry between the two Creek County schools, and Coach Frank Grimm lost 17 players, of which Johnny Bilby, an all-state quarterback, and we visited with Frank about who was going to be in the quarterback slot tonight.
We are excited about starting the season off. Quarterback situation is always a concern. We replaced a starter last year, made 5A All-State, and we feel we not only have one quarterback, but two are capable of playing. Brian Paxton will start for us tonight. We feel he's talented. It's going to take a little time to develop those talents, and he'll share time with Turk Davis, a senior, who hasn't been playing football the last 2 years, came out and is doing a super job. The catch up will take a little time also. So both of them will be a little rusty as far as experience, but both of them have the tools, both running and passing. We're looking forward to giving them the experience and leading the football team. I can't really say strongest we'll see tonight. We're looking for quite a bit of improvement on our defense as far as same numbers that we have to replace on both sides of the ball. We have 2 offensive starters returning, 2 defensive starters returning. But I think we have a little more speed on our defensive side of the ball. We're not as much experience, but to set the tone, we have to have our defense far ahead of our offense right at this time. And we feel confident with the quickness and everything. If we get off on the right foot, get some confidence, we'll have a good defensive football team.
For the Bristow Purple Pirates, going for their 10th district championship in the last 11 years, they made it to the quarterfinals in Class 3A last year. It's kind of interesting, a 3A school going up against a 5A school.
You know, a lot of times, Don, coaches don't like to play up, but Bill Scott scrimmages 5A schools. He likes to play a tough 5A school to begin with, and he talks about the things that he does with his staff, and it's always interesting to hear a coach talk about why he likes to play up in the classification.
5A teams, we get ready to play Sapulpa by scrimmaging Sand Springs, Tulsa, Hale, and Stillwater, and we like to play them. Obviously, kind of tough for us to expect to win year in, year out because of the numbers game. We've got 320 students in grades 10 through 12, and they've probably got, I think they have about 900 or 1,000 that's got a numbers game going, and it's tough for us to compete with 3A or with 5A. I've been very fortunate. Jerry Lomanek, our defensive coordinator, has been with me for all of those 22 years. He does an outstanding job. And then Rick Deal has been with me. He's our offensive coordinator. He's been with us 15 years. Floyd Robinson has been with us starting his 18th year. So anytime you have success, I get a lot of credit, but most of the success that we've had does deal with the fact that we have outstanding coaches, and they have really done a good job. They've been with us. They could have had head jobs other places, and they stayed with us, and we're very fortunate at Bristow High School to have those type of coaches for us.
Ready for the night's kickoff, number 75 for the Chieftains. Thompson, Jason Thompson will kick off, 6 foot, 202-pound junior. He is the brother of Todd Thompson, former OU kicker. Sapulpa has been known for great kickers in the past. Deep for the Bristow Pirates at the 5-yard line, Travis Wyckoff, one of their starting halfbacks, and Terry Holt, one of the starting defensive backs. This is Wyckoff at the 15-yard line. To the 25, nice lane, up to the 35-yard line. And they'll mark it out of bounds at the 36-yard line after a 21-yard return by Travis Wyckoff. And the Pirate offense starts in good shape.
We'll get an opportunity early on to check in and check out, maybe I should say, this wing T offense that has been so successful with Bill Scott at Bristow High School for the last 22 years and doesn't change a great deal. Very basic. People know what he's going to run, but he just runs it well.
David Shamus, number 16, is the quarterback. Returns from last year. There is the wing T. Fullback is Freddie Hayes. Wyckoff in motion, who returned the opening kick. Hayes, the fullback, gets a yard, not even that. Sapulpa's defense, which was very tough last year, and features one of the better players in the state, Craig Arthur. Keep your eye on him, J.V. Haney. He is pretty tough.
Number 72, and you're going to see him at the football almost every time, Don, and certainly a Division I player that around the nation they're looking at him.
Not Travis Wyckoff, but Tony Dunn on the stop after a yard gain. 2nd down and 9. Bristow, the opening possession. Oh, fumble, and the Chieftains have it inside the 35-yard line. Sapulpa with the opening turnover. The pitch to the fullback to Freddie Hayes, who couldn't grab the handle.
And you notice here, sometimes you don't see this happen very often in there, but just really didn't get the ball in there tight, and as a result of it, why, when the first contact came, he just couldn't quite hold on to it, Don.
72, Craig Arthur, whom we just talked about, recovering the fumble. And the Chieftains have great field position at the Bristow 34-yard line with not even a minute gone in the opening period.
And that's a great break early here for Sapulpa to be able to get the field position that they have. And, you know, with the young ball club, a starting quarterback that hasn't been a starter before, they could punch in there and get some points on the board. Be a great boost as far as momentum is concerned for the Chieftains.
Bristow ranked number 2 in Class 3A. Sapulpa is unranked. They run a pro-style type of offense. And their quarterback is Paxton, Brian Paxton. He hands off to number 40, Dwayne Broom, 5'9", 165 junior fullback, and starts on defense at strong safety. And the 1-year letterman gets from the 34 to the 32 for a pair, makes it 2nd and 8. We've just started from George F. Collins Stadium in Sapulpa, where the Chieftains on the second play from scrimmage recover a fumble, now have 2nd and 8 from the Bristow 32 with 10:22 to go, opening period. Out of the I formation, this is Dennison, and he is tough. He's wrapped up at the 30-yard line. Nicely done by defensive end David Shamus, number 16, who quarterbacks on offense.
Kevin Dennison, Don, if you remember from last year, he's kind of a water bug type runner. Once he gets just a little daylight, he's got a great foot control, great speed. He can cut quick, and he's one to watch. And they put him in, they ran a one-back set most of the time last year, but now Coach Grimm's running out of that I formation, putting him in there at that tailback most of the time to give him a more opportunity. Now they're coming back into their one-back set.
This has been a long-standing series between these two communities. Here's a first pass of the game, knocked away, incomplete at the 25-yard line by 23 Wyckoff, intended for 25 for the Chieftains. That was Karama English, one of the starting wide receivers, and we'll take a look at it.
Tracy Wyckoff, of course, doubles as many of the players do on Bristow, as well as Sapulpa, playing both offense and defense. And you can see him come up here real quickly and just make a real good defensive play and breaking it up.
So we have a 4th down, 6 yards needed for the first from the Bristow 30. Paxton out of the I formation, Broom fullback, Dennison tailback. Paxton, who throws left, rolls to his right and knocked down, incomplete. It is Pinson, Brian Pinson. Keep an eye on that kid. 6'5", 218-pound sophomore, defensive end and offensive tackle. And returns after playing a lot last year as a freshman.
Yes, had an All-State brother that graduated last year, one of the 2 All-Staters that they had in Bristow, Freddie Hall, the running back, being the other, and just a long line of great players that come out of Bristow High.
I think the defense here is really buckling up, as we can see with Bristow and holding here.
So the turnover doesn't do anything but keep Bristow in their own territory. They were at the 37, now start at the 30 and get up to the 37. Their original line of scrimmage when they fumbled the football. And Freddie Hayes, the fullback, 5'11", 210-pound junior, 3-year starter at linebacker, and he's just a junior.
He got quite a bit of action last year. He played behind Freddie Hall, who also was an all-stater with Bristow, so he's not completely new to the offense.
Gain of 6 on the last play makes it 2nd down, 4 yards from the 36 out of the wing tee. This is Cladell Alexander with his first carry, and he scrambles up to the 46. Excuse me, the 41. And has our first down of the game. The referee tonight is Charlie Payne, old friend, umpire Roger Gary, head linesman Terry Kimmel, Fred Beasley, the line judge, and Rick McClung is the back judge. It is a 1st down on the carry by Alexander.
Clydell Alexander didn't play last year, but certainly looking for great things, according to the coaching staff, out of him this year.
From the 41-yard line, this is Hayes, stopped at the 46-yard line. On the stop, number 15 for Sapulpa. That's Clay Dewerson, one of the defensive secondary players, and 55, who's in on a lot of tackles right now, linebacker Tony Dunn.
Tony Dunn moves up and down the line well from his linebacking position. Kind of a history of good linebackers over here at Sapulpa. They had some great ones last year.
Last year they had Mike Smith and Keith Nicholson. And they were probably the best pair in this part of the state. Alexander in motion. He gets the inside handoff, and he's popped immediately at the 45-yard line by Arthur again, the 6'4", 245-pound senior defensive tackle. One of the top, if not the top, defensive linemen in the state coming into the 91 season. Bench presses 430 pounds.
And that's why he is so good. You can see him come out of that defensive position, and it's just awfully difficult to block him, and he'll be back in there with his hands on the football.
Loss of 1 makes it 3rd down. 6 yards needed for Bristow to maintain possession from their own 45-yard line with 7.5 minutes to go, opening period. Don King, J.B. Haney with you as we kick off the 1991 high school sports schedule on United Artists Cable Channel 3. Here's an overthrown pass, first one of the season for Shamus, who last year was 35 of 61, which is close to 60% for 511 yards and 4 touchdowns. So we'll have our first punt of the game.
Shamus scored, threw for 4 touchdowns last year, Don. He threw for over 500 yards, and he took over when Mike Province was injured in the Bixby game, was out for the season. So there's a lot of experience on the Pirate team, and especially in there with David Shamus, and I think he's shown a little leadership in the early going here.
Of course, Brent Scott, many will remember, is maybe the best quarterback to come out of Bristow. And we have possibly our first penalty of the game, delay of game, and that is the case from Charlie Payne. So they'll knock Bristow back 5 and end the punt for the Pirates. I believe that is John Dowdy, 6'1", 195 senior, who starts at linebacker on defense and will play some tight end. Be 4th and 11 then from the 40. Deep for the Chieftains, number 1 Shannon Van, and number 40 starting fullback Dwayne Broom. Pressure put on by Sapulpa's Bubba Hamilton, and the kick off the side of the foot. It doesn't even make it into Bristow territory. So we have a break in the action midway first quarter. The Chieftains with the ball inside Bristow territory.
Arby's introduces something different, something every fat-fighting, calorie-counting fast food fan is waiting for. A complete meal. That's light. Only 350 calories for just $3.50. Only Arby's offers 3 slow-roasted, lean and tender light sandwiches, all 94% fat-free, plus a crisp, healthy side salad with Weight Watchers dressing, plus a diet drink. Just 350 calories, just $3.50. Just what you're waiting for. Arby's Light Menu. Another reason there is a difference in fast food.
What in the world can you do with a career in travel? You name it. No other career is quite like travel. It can take you places you've never been, show you sights you've never seen. If that sounds like the kind of exciting career you've been looking for, call us.
For more information, call Oklahoma Junior College at 459-0200 and take off on a new adventure in travel.
Oh, jeez, what a day.
Oh, I bet mine was worse.
Oh, hey, we forgot to return the video we rented last night.
Oh, you bring it back. You picked it out.
Only because I didn't have the one you wanted.
Yeah, but you still liked it.
No, I didn't. I hated it.
Well, I hated it more.
Well, yeah, okay, well, I returned that stupid movie you rented about
The worst part about renting a movie is having to make a special trip to take it back. With pay-per-view, you never have to take anything back.
Why rent it? You got it. Pay-per-view.
Kennedy Buick GMC, located in Sapulpa at 113 South Main, is offering 91 Buicks and GMC pickups at prices that you have to see to believe. Examine the design and the luxury of the Buick Park Avenue. The Park Avenue tells you instantly it's the premium automobile with a level of quality you can depend on. And the 91 Extra Cab GMC pickup, it's the pickup of the 90s. Visit Kennedy Buick GMC today, located at 113 South Main in Sapulpa. And by the way, Kennedy Buick GMC used cars carry warranties. Kennedy Buick GMC is open late on Thursdays.
So after the 7-yard punt, it's 1st and 10 from the Bristow 47-yard line. The Chieftains have had great field position to start the first period, and Dwayne Broom into the open to the 25 and pushed out of bounds. Travis Wyckoff saving the touchdown inside the 25 to the 24-yard line, and that's good for 23 yards for Dwayne Broom, the fullback.
And we see the second of that tandem quarterback that Coach Frank Grimm talked about. Turk Davis in at the quarterback, handing off in there to Broom, and Broom a big hold to his right and a good gain for the Chieftains.
Frank Grimm in his second year at Sapulpa. Played his collegiate football at the University of Tulsa. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles. 6-4 last year. And they defeated Bristow in a game we did to start our season last year, 14-7 in overtime. That was a thrilling ball game at Bristow last season at Hafer Field. Here Dennison gets his second carry of the season. Dennison was very instrumental in that 14-7 overtime win at Bristow last year.
And visiting with Coach Grimm during the week, Don, well, he kept talking about the fact that the two quarterbacks were so close, talking, of course, about Turk Davis and Brian Paxton, and I think we can see it here in the first period that he's going to have quite a choice, or it just gives him great depth at the quarterback position.
Karama English and Rod Davis are the wide receivers. Now they also put Dennison in as a wide receiver and throw to him, and he's overthrown at the 5-yard line, and he was open.
You put Rod Davis and Dennison both out there together on the wide side of the field as they did, and send Dennison down and out and bring Davis back over the middle. Hey, it makes it tough in there on the defensive secondary.
And a new quarterback in, that is Turk Davis. As JV mentioned earlier, with Coach Grimm, the quarterback situation really up for grabs coming into the season opener between this kid Davis, 6'2", 170 senior, who hasn't played since his freshman year, and the quarterback we saw in the opening series, Brian Paxton. After the incompletion, 3rd and 10 from the Bristow 24-yard line. Plenty of time. Nice catch. To the 5. Touchdown, Sapulpa. Karama English with a great reception and great effort once he caught the football.
That was a great reception in there by Karama English. He goes down about 10 yards and comes back over the middle, watches the ball very good right into his hands, and then fights his way down. They just didn't give it to him. He fought his way down and got into pay dirt there to draw first blood in this Creek County rivalry.
Extra point kick coming from Thompson, Jason Thompson. High snap. The kick is good. And with 6:14 to go in the opening period, the Chieftains jump out on a touchdown pass of 24 yards from Turk Davis to Karama English.
See Karama come off on the right side and come across into the center of your screen right there. And he really does a good job of looking the ball right into his hands. There's traffic around him, gets away from one tackler, splits two more, and gosh, he's not going to be denied, Don. He's going to get in the end zone.
47-yard drive in 3 plays. And the Chieftains up 7-0. And they've had field position, JV, from the get-go.
They really have. They kept the ball on the Bristow end of the field almost the entire first period here. And you know that you just can't hold out forever. Sooner or later, it's going to break, and they have drawn first blood here tonight.
Season series, at least the last 16 times these two teams have met. Sapulpa has won 9 to Bristow's 6, and the Chieftains have won the last 3 meetings.
Coach Grimm talked earlier about his defense, and maybe, you know, he didn't want to say his defense was ahead of his offense, but seemingly both of them look good in the early going.
Better get out of bounds. Oh, he picks it up and runs to the 25-yard line. Nice job by Bristow's 34. That's Terry Holt, who starts on defense. And Bristow will start at their own 27-yard line. Bristow last year 11-2, making it to the quarterfinals, losing to Ulaga 28-13 in the state quarterfinals last year. Sapulpa, meanwhile, as we mentioned, winning their first 4 games of the season, but finishing 6-4. Their last 2 losses knocked them out of the playoffs last year in 5A, losing to Owasso, a game we televised, and losing to Sand Springs. Here's Hayes. Look at him pull his way up to midfield. Mercy takes the 2 of them to bring him down, and he's into Sapulpa territory, the 49-yard line. Great run by Freddie Hayes at 24 yards.
Of course, he's 5'11", 210 pounds, Don, and he runs so low to the ground, you've got to get down and really square up on him. You're not going to arm tackle him because he'll just break it and keep on going. And again, as we said a few minutes ago, he played behind Freddie Hall in there last year. He was an all-stater, so he's had some good ones in front of him, and now he's one of them.
Wing T formation, 2 tight ends. Wing on the right is Alexander, and we have a flag. The only penalty of the first period was Bristow for delay of game when they were on 4th down, and this should be a motion, I believe, or procedure against Bristow. Charlie Payne gives us the signal, and one of the offensive linemen lining up offsides, encroachment call against the Pirates. Makes it 1st and 15 and moves them back inside their own territory at their own 46-yard line. The Chieftains leading with 5.5 minutes to go first quarter. No wind to speak of, as the Chieftains got a 24-yard touchdown pass from Turk Davis to Karama English. Extra point was good. Bristow has come back now. Got a great run from Hayes after the penalty. 1st and 15. Hayes again. He catches his breath, grabs a yard after being stopped by 72 Chris Pritchard, defensive tackle.
Craig Arthur again in on the tackle, and every time you look up on that defensive side of the football, you see this big guy, 6'4", 245, and once he puts his arms around you, you are going down.
They've also got another huge kid that's 6'6", 320, number 79, Jay Clark.
And Coach Grimm says that he is really improving. You look at his size, and you wouldn't think he would have much foot speed, but he's worked a lot. He's lost about 70 pounds.
2nd and 14. They try the power play to the right, and Wyckoff down to the 46-yard line as he picks up 7. Tony Dunn, number 55, who's been very instrumental in the early going for Sapulpa, is down, and we'll take a look at the play.
And you see Wyckoff really coming into the hole there very nicely, coming right off the block, and the offensive line's going to work now more for Bristow.
Looking for Dunn, who's out of the picture. 72 again, Arthur making the stop along with 24, Rod Davis. That is 55, Tony Dunn, 5'11", 190, junior linebacker.
John Jocelyn from the Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center out there. Don, as usual, they're covering every ball game, seems like we go to, and checking him over, and that's so great that they provide this service, and you know, it's a great relief for the coaches.
And they are at every high school game in the metropolitan area. You see John on your right. Tony looks like he's favoring his right shoulder. We'll take a look. I think we've got a shot of him right there. He took the pop.
Yeah, he took a good one right there, and just one of those burning, one of those stinging ones. I'm sure he's going to be back in.
Looked like it was 77 Russell Brown, who Bristow people say loves to hit. 6'1", 225 sophomore. Well, here we go. 3rd and 7 from the Chieftain 46-yard line. Shamus doesn't have much time. Throws, and a great catch by Wyckoff, who zips his way to a 1st down and more. He spins his way inside the 35-yard line to about the 33. They'll mark it after the 13-yard pass play. First completion of the year for the quarterback for Bristow, junior David Shamus.
Wyckoff coming out of his backfield position, kind of slips in behind the linebackers in there, and a nice pass by David Shamus, picking him out, just lobs it right over there. Of course, he does something after he catches a football. He's not going to be content. Gets past that first down marker and is still going to pick up a couple more yards just by fighting and spinning.
Nice play, 13-yard gain after a 3rd and 7 situation. Bristow on the move. Alexander, he's probably their most electrifying runner. And he scoots his way from the 33 down to about the 27 for about 6 yards.
And you consider the fact that this youngster didn't play last year. He missed an entire year of football, and coming back, and as you said, great speed and great quickness. Bill Scott pacing the sideline over there with the white towel, and you know, he doesn't like to be behind. His offense, that wing T, once he gets ahead, he can just grind it out. Looks like he's going to have a quick coaching clinic down there with all of his assistants.
19th year as the head coach, 178 wins, 77% winning percentage for Bill Scott as he enters his 19th season. Straight handoff and nothing doing that time. Arthur again, number 72, gets up from the stop, as well as number 62 for the Chieftains, Mike Walker, who is in, I believe, filling in for Tony Dunn right now.
Does Craig Arthur impress you?
Yes, very much so. I can see why he's rated as probably the top defensive lineman in the state right now.
You know, when you come through that line and you're going to run head up with him, why, you're going to be kind of looking for him, I think.
So, a loss of a yard on the play from the Sapulpa 28, 3rd down 5. Wyckoff trying to fight his way inside the 25. They'll mark it at the 25, a gain of 3, and it'll be 4th down and about 2. 4th and a long 2 coming up with 2:09 to go first period.
Dwayne Broom doing a good job in there on defense that time. Comes and box in, comes right back in on Wyckoff, hit him back inside and made the tackle. Got a little help, but playing his position very well.
Might have mentioned a while ago that Freddie Hayes, the Bristow quarterback, was 30, or the fullback was 34. Terry Holt is 34, and Freddie Hayes 35. Obviously, first game of the year. I'll fumble. I've already got one turnover, don't I? This is Hayes for the first down and more to the 20-yard line. Getting a nice job of breaking the tackle of Craig Arthur and scoots his way down to the 20. Gain of 5 and a first down on a big 4th down play. And the Bristow Pirates, JV, great drive here and have made some big plays on 3rd and 4th down.
You really have, and you can get a good look there at Freddie Hayes going out of that patent wing T offense, getting past the line of scrimmage. The offensive line doing a good job at picking up the first down.
First and 10 from the 20. Alexander, the wing on the right, in motion, and the pitch to him. Not much doing. 47 on the stop for the Chieftains. That's Charlie Goolsby, 5'10", 230-pound senior, 2-year starter at defensive tackle.
You know, it looked like Alexander might be able to get through there that time because they had the entire backfield and the left side going, everyone going through the hole, but a great play in there by Sapulpa.
Frank Graham in his 2nd year at Sapulpa. We mentioned he played at TU, played for the Eagles. And his Sapulpa coaching staff has been around a long time together, as has Bristow's assistants. We'll talk about that later. 2nd and 10, and Shamus puts it upstairs. Complete, I believe, to Pinson inside the 15. Knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line by number 1, Shannon Van, out of the secondary. John Dowdy is the left end that makes the stop, 6'1", 195 senior.
Big target to throw to out there that time, and he picked him up very quickly, David Shamus did.
Gain of 6 makes it 3rd down and 4 from the Chieftain 14, and you would think, trailing 7-0 with 37 seconds to go opening period, that if they don't make it here, they'll go for it on 4th down. So they got 2 downs to gain 4 for the first down at the 14-yard line. Wyckoff, can he get away? Look at him fight his way inside the 10-yard line. Great effort by Travis Wyckoff, who last year rushed for 525 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Travis Wyckoff's a 190-pounder, and, you know, he doesn't look maybe that large on camera, but a 190-pounder, only 5'10", but he is hard to get down, and you can see here they get their hands on him and going to hold him short of the first down, but he's not going to be denied. Right in there with a missed tackle, and looks like for sure they're going to get him down here, but they can't quite. He just keeps churning, keeps those knees going, and he's determined to get over the 10-yard line and pick up a first down, which he did.
That's great. 5-yard run by Wyckoff. Great effort. First and goal from the Chieftain 9. Last play of the first quarter. Chamis hands off. Alexander darts his way to the 7-yard line. And that will take care of the opening period from George F. Collins Stadium in Sapulpa. It's a great Creek County rivalry as they open up the season. And right now, the Chieftains are on top 7-0, but Bristow is knocking on the door.
Bad schools cost every resident of Creek County. They cost you when you pay to keep.
Producer-director Bob Vest, statistician Steve Scott, the rest of the guys with us, Rick Scott, Bobby Daniels, Roger Hess, Roxanne Hess. We're ready to go. Second and goal from the 7, looking for the touchdown pass, and it is complete to Pinson. Brian Pinson, the right tight end, makes the catch, and the sophomore has put the Pirates of Bristow into a situation to try and tie the game with the extra point kick.
Pinson really got off the line, I think. I don't think they were maybe expecting a pass. I wasn't expecting Bill Scott to throw it, but a great play selection in there and a great execution.
Well, the extra point kick will be forthcoming to try and tie the game in this one, JV. Looks like last year's game. It was nip and tuck the whole way.
Most people were talking before the game, and they think it would go to the wire just like it did last year, and I don't see anything different after watching a quarter.
We have a flag down. Left-footed kicker is Terry Holt. Chamis to hold. From the snap of 78, Lamont Harris, I believe it is, and we have procedure call against the Pirates. Bristow, the only team to be penalized in this game. And they've been penalized 3 times for a total of 15 yards now.
You have to make a few penalties. If you're playing aggressive football, you're going to make a few, and early in the season, why, it can be expected.
Terry Holt, his first varsity extra point try. Chamis can't handle the snap. Calls fire, looks for help, can't find it, and he's dropped. So with 4 seconds gone in the second period, the Sapulpa Chieftains hang on to the lead of 7-6. And you see the crowd. It is a good crowd here at Sapulpa, as always. The Chieftains are supported very well by this community, and we'll take a look at the great play action here by the quarterback, Chamis.
And you can see the tight end just slipping out there real easy. Brian Pinson gets open quick. He's got good speed, good hands, watches the ball right into his hands for a score. And, of course, you'd have to give credit again to David Chamis, picking him up and laying it right in there.
We'll remind you that at halftime, we have a new feature on United Artists Cable Channel 3. We will join Al Jerkins, who will give us all the replay highlights of the weekend's activities. And some of his highlights, I'm sure, will include the great opening game that should be going on between Union and Washington, as well as other games. Don King, J.B. Haney with you to start the high school season from Sapulpa. Next week, we have a triple hitter for you. We'll tell you about that in just a moment, as we have Shannon Van, and he will take it inside the 5, to the 10, to the 20, up to about the 22-yard line.
Van returns the ball to the 22-yard line, where the Chieftains will take over first.
Don, I think you're going to see both teams really settle down and start delivering some blows on one another and getting over this first game jitters and kind of getting all the butterflies out and settling down here, and we're going to see some good high school football.
We talked about the rivalry, JV, and it is an interesting rivalry between these two schools, these two communities especially, that find themselves just a few miles apart, 15, 20 miles apart. And a lot of people that work in Sapulpa live in Bristow, and vice versa. A lot of people that live in these surrounding communities work in these two communities in Bristow and Sapulpa. It's kind of fun.
And it's a clean rivalry, the kind that you like to see.
On the option is Turk Davis to the 30. First down to the 40-yard line. Boy, he shows some speed.
Really did. He got outside and turned it on in there. And again, showing you the depth at quarterback that Frank Grimm has here at Sapulpa with Turk Davis and also with Brian Paxton. So he can do a lot of different things.
Third first down of the first half for Sapulpa after the 19-yard gallop by the quarterback Turk Davis, who has the Chieftains in front 7-6 thanks to a 24-yard touchdown pass. Both teams throwing touchdown tosses here in the opening half. 11 minutes to go before halftime. Right up the gut. Not sure if that's Dennison or Davis. No, it is Dennison, 22.
Dennison really isn't showing us that quickness that I thought I remembered from last year. Don, seemed like when you get through the line of scrimmage that he was just cutting right and cutting left, and looks like he's running straight ahead more this year.
The offensive line, a little bit of a concern for Sapulpa. They don't have that many players returning on the offensive line. After the gain of 3, second down 7 out of the I formation. Dennison dots the I, gets the handoff, or fake handoff, and Davis keeps it. And he's going to be sacked back at the 42-yard line. 88, John Dowdy makes the stop. Loss of a yard, back to the 43-yard line.
Turk Davis here is really going to execute a great fake when he hands off in there to Dennison. Looks like he gave it to him, but he kept it and rolled out to the outside. Didn't fool, though. Didn't fool number 88 in there, John Dowdy. He was right out there to make the tackle. Fooled us, Don, but not John Dowdy.
John Dowdy coming from a long line of Dowdys that have played at Bristow High School. There's another Dowdy on the team, Jeff Dowdy, but they're not related. In fact, Jeff doesn't have all the relatives that play at Bristow, but John does. 3rd and 8. Pressure again. It's Dowdy again. Flag down, and the pass incomplete. Intended for 83, Russell Jones, the tight end. And the call will go against the Sapulpa Chieftains. And it's going to be an ineligible receiver, I believe, downfield.
You know, most of the time that happens once you scramble that long out there. Those linemen will get out and they'll get on down thinking that you are going to run. But a lot of action in that particular series. And again, you see John Dowdy back in there. Looks like he's got him, but that's a very elusive quarterback in there, Turk Davis is. Gets away from him, still able to look downfield and get a pass off. You can see the flag being thrown back there.
There's the pass, and a nice job on the defensive side for the Bristow Pirates. I thought it was Wyckoff. I see Wyckoff there on the right side. So a big penalty, the first one of the night against Sapulpa after leading 7-0, now 7-6, and now they're backed up, cleared back to their 12-yard line. Good night.
Momentum can change so quickly in a football game, and it looked like maybe a while ago that Sapulpa was on the march again, but suddenly now with a penalty, well, they've got their backs to the wall, and Bristow's digging in on them.
I thought it might have been a loss of down, but it is not. 3rd down. They're at the 12. They need to get up past the 50-yard line to the Bristow 49. You figure it out. Dennison figures he can get some yardage and does so, getting 4 up to the 16-yard line.
Brian Pinson again in there on the tackle. They loosened up just a little bit, but not enough to let him get out. And Bristow's going to have excellent field position after the punt.
So after the gain of 4, it is 4th and 35 from the 16-yard line, and in the punt for Sapulpa is Clay Dewerson, 6'1", 160 junior. Plays at wide receiver and starts in the secondary. They had a great punter last year, Will Berry, who's at TU, is a backup punter this year. And the kick, it's at the 50, and a nice roll. Wyckoff lets it roll down to the 34-yard line.
It was a great kick and a good roll on behalf of Sapulpa there. Got him out of the hole. It looked like for sure that Bristow, Don, would have gotten the ball on inside the 50-yard line, but they didn't, and now they've got about 65 yards to go.
Boy, a beautiful punt. 50 yards, I think it was, on the punt. 51, according to Steve Scott. And so the Purple Pirates, who looked like they were going to have great field position, but after the 51-yard punt, will start first down at their own 35-yard line. And maybe we've got a flag apparently because we're going back.
Flag on the far side of the field. I didn't see it go down, but they're going to come back and do it again.
Well, we'll see what Charlie Payne and his crew says about this. After a 51-yard punt, it's going to be brought back. With 8:36 to go, opening half. Come on, guys. You're coming up with all kinds of signals here in the opening game of the season. I have no idea what that is. Cramped in his leg, I think is what Charlie Payne is saying. So after the penalty, he's got a punt from inside the end zone, and he skies one. Fair catch called and made at the 41-yard line. Got a break in the action with 8.5 minutes to go before halftime. The Chieftains in front of the Purple Pirates, 7-6.
Jenny, where are you?
Children's Medical Center today at 438 KIDS.
Hit the deck! Oh, no! Now stand up and don't drop the pill. Look at him come right up.
A yellow tongue. Have you seen a doctor?
I'll be looking for you.
All season sporting goods located at 609 Sports Center, 609 South Main in Sapulpa.
So the Purple Pirates start in great field position at the Sapulpa 41-yard line. Shamus. Wyckoff can't hang on to it. Do we have another flag down, Coach? I think we do.
It was a great break that time for Sapulpa because they picked up about 25 yards on the replay of the down and on the punt. So now they're back inside the 50 where I thought they would be.
Ooh, personal foul against the Pirates. So now things starting to heat up between the two teams. Penalties starting to accumulate. Oh, no, it's going to be against Sapulpa.
We have a 15-yard penalty for a late hit on the
Late hit called after the pass, and Wyckoff had dropped the pass. He was hit.
Ball will be moved to the 26-yard line.
And the Chieftains, who had no penalties in the first quarter, now have suffered a couple of major penalties here in the last minute as Frank Grimm talks upstairs. So a first down at the Sapulpa 26-yard line, and the Pirates down by a point. But threatening out of the wing tee. Freddie Hayes inside the 25-yard line, upended by Tony Dunn, number 55, who's back into the game.
Freddie Hayes really carries the ball well in there at 210 pounds. It always seems like they have a couple of backs at Bristow, Don, that weigh right around that 200-pound mark. Most of the time, they're not very tall. Freddie listed at 5'11", looks more like he's about 5'10", maybe 5'9.5", but runs very low to the ground, always picking up yardage when he has his hands on the football.
Second down 8 for the second-ranked Bristow Purple Pirates out of Class 3A against a 5A school, the Sapulpa Chieftains. Wyckoff in motion. Double tight end. Shamus looks for Wyckoff. Oh, they got mixed up on the signals, and it's intercepted at the goal line. He did not go into the end zone, or they would have called a touchback. There's Rod Davis, who's probably the fastest player on the Sapulpa team. He's dropped at the 20, a flag down inside the 15. So we'll see what the call is. I think it'll be a clip. Nevertheless, Shamus and Wyckoff just didn't connect on that pass, and Davis drifted underneath and caught it.
Yeah, kind of interception. It looked like he kind of hurried that in there, and once the interception was made by Shannon Van, while he uses the entire field, I thought he was going to maybe step into the end zone. If you notice here, once the interception is made, that it looks like he may step into the end zone in there. Actually, it was made in there by Rod Davis, wasn't it? I was looking at Shannon Van. He'll throw a great block right in here to spring him in just a second, and I think you can see the end of the clip coming in right then. But a great return in there by Rod Davis.
Well, another major penalty against the Chieftains. 1st and 10. The ball was to be at the 24-yard line. They've moved it back to the 7, where it is 1st and 10. Boy, that's a big-time turnover on Bristow with 7 minutes to go before halftime. We'll see if Sapulpa can knock it out and get some breathing room. Out of the I formation, Paxton in at quarterback. Not much running room there from the 7 up to about the 8-yard line. And that is the fullback, number 44.
Now, this is Paxton's first series. Since the first series of the ball game, he took over on the first series, then he's been out, back in here at this series midway in the second period.
44 on the carry for the Chieftains, who's not on the program.
Second down 9 from the 8-yard line. High formation and a flag down, and that probably be too much time.
Looked like Pat Fees, who was spread out wide over there on the far side of the field. Don, I think he was didn't get back in time, and a lot of movement going on.
Yes, you're right. Encroachment against the Chieftains. Boy, this has been some kind of second period for them. They've had 3 major penalties and now a 5-yarder marched up against them. However, they are ahead 7-6 thanks to the interception at the goal line by Rod Davis.
Well, the officials came over and was talking to Coach Graham, and Coach was wondering why the official on the far side of the field that was standing right by Fees didn't call the encroachment.
Sapulpa has amassed 5 penalties in this period for 58 yards. Second down. Is that a fumble? Bristow thinks so, and it is. Oh my, a fumble inside the 5-yard line.
Looked like I saw a white shirt really get in there. I couldn't quite pick out who it was.
Recovered by number 32, George.
Well, I think it was 32. We'll take a look. George Bergen, sophomore linebacker.
First and goal, I should say, from the
See that ball pop out, and immediately people start going for it, and that's always amazing. You can see Burkett scrambling for the football, and he's got it.
Wow, 5:42 to go before halftime. And it's first and goal at the 4-yard line. And it's a touchdown for Bristow's Neil Spencer.
The handoff goes to number 14, Neil Spencer.
It was a quickie for him and a great hole opening up, and Spencer just taking it in. And where did he come from? Capitalizing on errors. You have to do that. Winning teams always take advantage of everything that comes up, and Bristow, of course, with that great winning tradition under Bill Scott, they're going to take advantage of things that comes their way, and I think the inexperience in Sapulpa maybe have come out here just a little bit in the second period, Don, especially since they lost 17 by graduation last year.
Turnovers have really been a part of this game. We had a fumble on the second play from scrimmage. Bristow has to go for 2 and can't make it. Craig Arthur, 72, on the stop of Neil Spencer, who scored the touchdown. With 5:34 to go before halftime. Bristow leads 12-7.
12-7 over the Chieftains.
At Sapulpa. And a great crew it is. Mike Barnes, Charlie Dugan, Robert Lively. They've been here for quite a while. Joined by Chris Jackson, Jared Mendenhall, and Steve Shibley Jr. And Steve Shibley Sr., the athletic director here at Sapulpa. Nice to see him before the game.
Try to have an opportunity, if we can, to visit with him at halftime, Don. It's always great to visit with an ex-wrestling coach, and what a job he's done here at Sapulpa High School. I think he's in about his 4th year as the athletic director.
There's the kickoff, taken at the 10-yard line by Shannon Van to the 30. Finds a lane and spins up to the 37, 38-yard line. Nice return by number 1 for the Chieftains, 5'6", 140-pound junior Shannon Van, one of the guys from the Munchkin bunch. That's what Frank Grimm calls his running backs, because the tallest out of the group's 5'9". As the Sapulpa band looks on, and we'll see them at halftime.
Shannon, 5'6", 141, and you know, most of the heights and weights in football are just a little exaggerated. Haven't you found that?
Usually. First and 10 at the 37-yard line after the 27-yard return by Van. Single back in for Sapulpa. Double tight end. And that pass by Davis underthrown after he was blitzed by 86 Brian Pinson. Intended for 22 Kevin Dennison.
When Brian Pinson comes in on you out of his defensive position in there, you're going to have to get rid of the ball very quickly. And you can see he just comes in from the far side. He has his hands all over him and makes him throw the ball into the ground.
Brian Pinson's brother, Roger, was an all-state footballer at Bristow that just graduated this past season, played in the Oil Bowl. And it was nice to see the Okies beat those Texans in the Oil Bowl this past summer, I think for the 3rd straight year, and Tom Stockton from Cassia Hall. Or no, David Moore from Nathan Hale, one of the coaches out of the Oil Bowl. Here's Davis on the option. Traffic all around him. And it gets congested, and he's dropped at the 40-yard line after a gain of 3.
David Moore at Hale High School, what a job he has done, Don. And we'll have Hale a little bit later in the season. Of course, next week, Tom Stockton, who coached the All-State game. He was the head coach of the E Squad in the recent All-State games held in Tulsa, which Bill Scott from Bristow was president of the Oklahoma Coaches Association, Hall of Famer himself. And we'll have Tom Stockton and Holland Hall, Charles Brown, on Thursday night of next week.
Oh, you lead me right into it, JV. Well done. Triple header next week. It is girls softball. East Central at Broken Arrow, 2 great teams. And then Cassia Hall, Holland Hall, great rivalry, as well as Washington McLean. Here it is, 3rd and 7, and that pass incomplete. I'm not sure if anybody got a hand on it or not.
It looked like that he was getting a lot of pressure out of, I believe that was David Shamus coming in there real quickly from the right side and put the pressure on Turk Davis, creating an incomplete pass and setting up a punting situation.
Back to punt is Dewerson, whose first punt was 51 yards, but it was negated by a penalty. And his next punt was good for 33 yards. Well, that's his only punt of the game so far. This one end over end, fair catch called for and taken at the 33-yard line by John Dowdy. Well, the Pirates will start at their own 33-yard line. 4:09 to go before halftime. Bristow fumbling on the second play from scrimmage. However, Sapulpa could do nothing with it at the Bristow 30-yard line, ran out of downs. Bristow ended punting after not getting a first down, and on a 7-yard punt set up Sapulpa at the Bristow 47. They scored in 4 plays.
$35.
23-yard run by Dwayne Broom set up the touchdown. A 24-yard touchdown pass from Turk Davis to Karama English. Bristow tied it got their touchdown on the first play of the 2nd quarter, but missed the extra point to trail 7-6. Then got a fumble inside the 5-yard line and scored on the next play by Neil Spencer. The 2-point conversion failed, and Bristow leads 12-7. We're under 4 minutes remaining before halftime.
Good defensive play at that time by number 1, Shannon Van, coming out of his defensive secondary position and really putting the stopper on Travis Wyckoff.
Loss of a yard. Oh, yeah, loss of a yard makes it 2nd down 11 from the 32-yard line for Bristow. After the 27-yard punt by Dewerson. Wing on the right. Handoff to the right. Wyckoff finds an avenue and gets to the 40. And look at him fight for the first down, and I think he has it. The 44-yard line after a yard of a dozen.
Wyckoff, you just can't hardly get him down if you don't get just one great solid hit on him. You grab him around the waist or grab him up high, he's going to drag you through. And you can see again some good openings up in the offensive line there that the Pirates are doing. He gets through, they hang on to him, but always 2 or 3 more yards. Got to get him and gets a bunch of help for him.
Dewerson, who's made quite a few tackles out of the backfield. That gentleman with the ball cap on, waiting for Healy's Hurricane. Looking for Bob Healy. He's looking up here in the box, looking for JV and wanting to ask JV when Healy's Hurricane is going to be on. It will be on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock on United Artists Cable Channel 3. Bob Healy and Coach Dave Rader reviewing the Tulsa-Oklahoma State game, as well as the season opening game against Southwest Missouri State. And also a reminder that the Tulsa-Oklahoma State game, if you're watching this in the Tulsa area and Sapulpa area as well, will be replayed tonight at 10:30 on Channel 3 if you're watching this on Saturday. 1st and 10. 3:26 to go before halftime. 44-yard line is Bristow, and it'll stay that way unless this penalty moves them back.
The flag thrown in there, probably a holding penalty where it was thrown inside, and I see the Sapulpa people walking back. It was a holding penalty on the interior line.
No gain, and with 3:22 to go before halftime, do you decline the penalty or move them back 10?
Move them back.
Give them another down, but move them back 10.
Absolutely, because if you can get them back there where they have to punt, a lot of things can happen. Charlie Payne out there winding the clock. Always think of Charlie. He went with Dan Crookham in the Sooner Stampede to the Soviet Union and left quite a name for himself in Tallinn, Estonia.
First and 18 from the 35-yard line for David Shamus, who hands off to Wyckoff. Boy, that play has been their most successful, and Wyckoff
Number 23, Travis Wyckoff.
finds some room and gets 5 yards to the 40. He's the leading rusher in the game. Travis Wyckoff, who had 4 touchdowns last year and averaged 8 yards per carry. 5'10", 190-pound junior. Starts on both offense and defense.
At Bristow, they run that wing tee all the way down through the junior high program, and those kids coming up, they are so familiar with it, and they've made more errors, Don, than I've seen them make in a long time, and I think that's because they've got some young kids in there.
Alexander in motion, gets the call. He's been bottled up pretty well tonight. Number 82, making sure it happens again, is Darren Morgan, 6'1", 160 defensive end. Junior makes the stop on Alexander after Claudel picks up 2. Boy, I had the pleasure of, or displeasure, of playing against his father, Claudel Sr. and Wes Hankins, who are great running backs at Bristow. They beat us in junior high one year, JB, 70-0.
70-0.
Or 90 to nothing. And they were walking off the field taunting us, and we were taunting them back. You guys just weren't good enough to beat us by 100. 90-0.
Oh.
Hankins and Claudel Alexander, boy, they were a pair. Shamus fires to Pinson to midfield. Not enough for the first down. It'll be 3 yards shy. And it'll bring up a 4th down and about 2 with 1:32 to go and the clock running before halftime.
Shamus is rather impressive with his passing. He drops back, gets good protection in there, picks out his receiver, delivers the ball in there very accurately. Not quite enough for a first down. The clock continues to roll. I'm sure that he was trying to get out of bounds, but just couldn't quite do it. Good catch in there by Brian Pinson.
Pinson's 3rd catch of the night. Leading receiver in the game. 4th and 2, and back to punt are the Pirates. Punt by Dowdy. Van lets it roll, and it'll go inside the 10, down at about the 5-yard line with 52 seconds left. And now Sapulpa can't afford another turnover. Remember, the go-ahead touchdown by Bristow was scored when Sapulpa fumbled inside the 5-yard line as the Bristow Pirate fans look on.
I don't think you're going to see Frank Grimm do anything that would create an error at this particular point. He'd like to take it, run it out, and get on into half, only down by 1 touchdown.
Sapulpa, which led 7-0 on a 24-yard touchdown pass from Turk Davis to Karama English. Davis's first completion of his varsity career, and English's first catch of the season. Extra point kick by Thompson was good with 6:14 to go first period. First play of the second period, Bristow scored on a 7-yard touchdown pass to Brian Pinson. There's a ball loose, and it's covered up again inside the 5-yard line, about the 3-yard line, I believe, by the quarterback. Nope, that is Dennison.
Dennison was coming in. He was split out there, and he saw the loose football and comes in and immediately covers it. I couldn't tell what happened. It looked like the quarterback just took it and stepped up into the line, but suddenly it squirts out. I think we're going to have a new quarterback coming in here. Looks like Turk Davis coming back into the ball game.
We'll have a replay. Watch the ball
You can see it just squirts out of there. Evidently, someone came in with a real hard hand on the tackle and just knocked it loose. Alert Dennison out there, able to save it.
16 seconds remaining before halftime. We mentioned the punter for Sapulpa last year was Will Berry, who was their leading receiver. He's now a backup punter and wide receiver at the University of Tulsa. It's kind of interesting in that TU OSU game that another former Sapulpan and another former kicker, Shannon Thompson, is battling Broken Arrow's Ricky Myers for the kicking job for the Cowboys. So a couple of Sapulpans will go at it at Skelly Stadium. And again, you can see the replay of that TU OSU game on United Artists Cable Channel 3. And this channel, if you're watching in the Sapulpa or Tulsa area, at 10:30 on Saturday night.
Number of Frank Grimm's Chieftains from last year playing small college ball around. Johnny Bilby, he's up in Kansas. I believe he's at Pittsburgh State. Several of them at Northeastern in past years. So there's a lot of college players from Sapulpa.
Quarterback sneak, and that should run out the clock unless Bristow calls timeout.
And another timeout on the field by the Pirates.
With 12 seconds remaining, Sapulpa will face a third down, so we should have one more play before halftime. And again, at halftime, we'll take a look at the Sapulpa band as well as J.V. Haney with some interviews, and Al Jerkins with his halftime highlights of some games played over the weekend. And it's a pleasure to again have the Williams Companies as one of our sponsors for high school sports for the 1991-92 season. Again, JV, I know Joe Williams and the Williams Companies, great supporters of high school sports in the Tulsa area.
Really, and the saying no to drug that we're trying to emphasize on our telecast and staying in school. It's just a pleasure having the Williams Companies aboard again.
Well, that will take care unless Bristow calls another timeout. I didn't think that will be their final timeout. 7 seconds remaining. So that will indeed be their final timeout. And this will set up 4th down. 4th and 10 with 7 seconds remaining. Now, Coach Haney, what do you do? Do you punt the football out of your own end zone or try and run out the last 7 seconds and hope that Bristow doesn't have enough time to set up a play?
You know, that really puts a lot of pressure on the coach, Don. If you go back to that.
United Artists Cable.
Rent it, you got it, pay-per-view.
This is Al Jerkins with the United Artists Cable High School Halftime Report. Let's begin with the highlights from the Washington Union game. What a ball game this was from S.E. Williams Stadium. 7-yard run by Union's Jaron Cherry made the score 7-0 with the extra point. Redskins on top. But the 45-yard touchdown pass from Washington's Tony Jones to Kevin Lockett got Washington back in it, and it was 8-7. They made the 2-point conversion. But Union didn't quit. In fact, they stomped on Booker T the rest of the way. Touchdown by Jaron Cherry, his second. He bowls his way into the end zone. That made the score 15-8. That was the score at the half. And then Union put it away in the second half. Third quarter touchdown, Andre Mall. And Union goes on with an upset. You recall that Union beat Washington in the All-City Preview. Well, they beat them in the first game of the season. The final score, 32-14. Bartlesville shut out Sand Springs. The final score there was 28-0. We go to Bartlesville for the score, for the highlights. Bruins taking the field here in the first quarter. It was Bartlesville's passing attack being showcased. Jason Strope hits James Joyce for about 20 yards for the nice gain here. And still, it's Strope again, this time hitting Steve Sales for the gain down to the Sandite 11. It was all Bartlesville the rest of the way. Bartlesville goes on to beat Sand Springs 28-0. The #1 team in the state preseason, Enid, came to Broken Arrow. Tigers taking the field here as the big underdogs. But guess what? Broken Arrow came away with a big victory. Here, the run and shoot, Jeremy Fairchild to Justin Peterson for the first score of the season for Broken Arrow. They missed the PAT, but it was 6-0 Tigers on top. A couple of minutes later, before the half ends, Enid ties it up. Herbert Braddon from the 4 for the score. Plainsman missed the PAT. It was 6-6. But Broken Arrow wins it from Kirkland Field. The final score, 15-3, or 15-13, I should say. Broken Arrow with a big upset over #1 Enid. Other scores for you. Jenks over Ponca City. The game at Ponca City, 20-7 the final there. Tahlequah beat Owasso, 49-14, that game at Tahlequah. Muskogee went over to Rogers, Arkansas, and won in Arkansas, 41-13 there. Guthrie beat Memorial, that game at La Fortune, 21-7, the final score there. Tulsa Hale beat Tulsa Central, 22-19, the final score. We pick up the highlights from Webster Stadium. First play of the game, Hale quarterback Josh Sutterfield is intercepted by Barvell Patrick of Central. He'll take it all the way. He's gone for the touchdown. Central leading it at this point, 6-0. They missed the extra point. A lot of missed extra points in the first week. Back on offense, Hale counter with Travis Connor around right end for 7 in the score. That made it 7-6, and Hale goes on to win it 22-19. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Check your point.
Welcome back to our high school halftime report. Let's go to other scores for you. Cascio Hall had to travel to Broken Bow, and they got beat. 13-10 was the final score. Cascio Hall will play Holland Hall this coming Thursday. Other scores, Bishop Kelly had to go to Oklahoma City. They got beat by McGinnis. The final score there, 26-13. Haskell beat Morris, 41-6 the final. All right, they're excited in Okmulgee about their Bulldogs. They have a passing attack now. Let's go to Okmulgee. We got there via Chopper 2. And here, Sallisaw, the visitor, cheerleaders throwing out a couple of footballs from Channel 2, and here's the first score. Sallisaw Sammy Johnson. Okmulgee had the lead 15-0 at that point. It was 15-7 after that TD. Then Okmulgee's Chad Scott with a 33-yard touchdown run. That put the game out of reach for Okmulgee, but for good measure, their quarterback, Waylon Jones, with a touchdown 10-yard aerial. It was 28-7 at the half, and Okmulgee went on to win it. The final score, 35-7. Holland Hall beat Metro Christian 43-6. Let's go to the highlights here. This game at Holland Hall. That's Howard Twilley making his first appearance as the Metro Christian coach on the sidelines. He was smiling early until this pass was intercepted by Jeff Utter of Holland Hall. He returns it back to set up the first touchdown. And later, Metro Christian's big touchdown, their only score of the ball game, but it was a beauty. This is Jeff Bennett going all the way for a touchdown. 95 yards for Metro Christian, but it was not enough. Holland Hall wins by a big score over Metro Christian. Other scores, Oologah beats Sperry 28-7. Bixby over Miami 14-0. Our final highlight, we go to Bixby to check out the highlights of this ball game. Bixby coming in with another roller, Jimmy Roller. Here, an aerial view of Bixby Stadium. We go to the highlights, Jimmy Roller with a 19-yard touchdown run for Bixby, and they went on to beat Miami. The final score was 14-0. Skiatook was the winner 19-0, and Coweta beat Claremore. And that's it for the halftime update.
Welcome back to Sapulpa, George F. Collins Stadium. And it is a pleasure to introduce a new feature at halftime. We'll be taking an extended look at the bands throughout the football season, and what a better way than to start with the 193-strong Sapulpa Marching Band under the direction of Dean Cole. Their drum major is James Boyd, who is a senior, and junior Amy Nichols. And the featured twirler tonight is Tara Moore. The Sapulpa Marching Band, the 1990 Fiesta Bowl champions.
At this time, we would like to introduce the members of this year's picnic squad. From front to back, they are Amber Pugmire, Terry Davis, Ann Jacobus, Captain Angie Pugmire, Kim Miller, Charity Clark, Tori Brown, Brandy Patty, Shelley Buchanan, Amy yet.
For fast and friendly service.
Pulp Road, Turner Turnpike in Tulsa.
There's a look at the co-captains for the Chieftains, 62 Mike Walker and number 24 Rod Davis. The co-captains for Bristow tonight, Neil Spencer, number 14, and John Downey, number 88. As we take a look at the halftime statistics. Right now it is Bristow on top, big time. 7-3 in first downs, 101 yards rushing to 48 for Sapulpa. I guess the passing's the main thing, JB, that strikes me. You don't think Bristow is much of a passing team. 4 out of 6, 35 yards and a touchdown. Sapulpa's only completion a touchdown, and Bristow almost 2-to-1 in yardage turnovers. It's been kind of interesting. Bristow 2-to-1, but the big Sapulpa turnover led to the go-ahead touchdown.
And the leading rushers for Bristow was Freddie Hayes. He carried the ball 8 times for 45 yards. Sapulpa's Dwayne Broom had twice for 25 yards. But you talk about the passing, Don. David Shamus last year, he was hitting 35 of 61. Now, that's not a great number of passes, but nevertheless, he was rather accurate, over 50%. So it doesn't surprise me when he completes them.
He took over last year. Shamus, we're talking about the Bristow quarterback, when Mike Province was hurt in the second game of the year. And Shamus, who at that time was just a sophomore, guided the Pirates to a quarterfinal berth in which they lost to Oologah, who made it to the finals, lost to Oologah 28-13. In fact, Bristow has the 6th best winning percentage of any postseason team in state history. That's not bad.
No.
6th best. Who's number 1? That's the question to J.B. Haney and statistician Steve Scott. Who has the best postseason record of any school?
I would say,
Steve Scott says Booker T. Washington.
I would say Ada High School.
And JB is right on the money. He is hot tonight. Man, he's hot. Ada Cougars have the best winning percentage of any school in the state. Bristow is 6th best, and they will kick off to the Chieftains of Sapulpa. There is Shannon Van on the far side, and 24. On the near side is Rod Davis, one of the co-captains for the game. And this is Van at the 10. He's been pretty tough tonight, and he shows us why as he gets up to the 36-yard line.
Nice return in there with a little 5'6", 141-pounder. Bristow's able to put the ball in play at a pretty good position on the 35-yard line. Not bad on the opening half, Don.
Pirates leading 12-7, but the Chieftains have the ball. And in their touchdown drive, when they went ahead on a 24-yard touchdown pass to Davis to Karama English, they drove 47 yards in 4 plays. They got a 23-yard run from Broom and the 24-yard touchdown pass. So that account in that drive, that accounts for 47 of their total 72 yards in this game. From the 36-yard line, Davis on the option. Nice move to the 45-yard line in the first down. To the 40, to the 35-yard line. And a touchdown-saving tackle by the safety, Justin Battenfield.
And really, Turk Davis can show you a lot of speed here and made a good fake when he got to the corner. And I think that's what really allowed him to get upfield. And you'll see he comes down and does a nice fake inside. Comes on out to the corner, and you'll see him just take the ball out there and pitch it. Kind of neutralized in there that time. David Shamus lets him turn upfield. And as you said, on saving tackle in there at that time by Justin Battenfield that prevented a touchdown maybe.
From his 36 to the Bristow 35, and Davis has accounted for 3 of the Chieftains' 4 first downs in this contest. Here's the fullback. That is the sophomore, David Undernear, who carried once in the first half, 5'11", 177. Sophomore gets to the 35 for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Have to be impressed in there with Turk Davis running the ball club very well. And his first really action, he's a senior, Don, but still wasn't expected maybe to root out. But he's in there quarterbacking again.
Well, they, of course, as you mentioned, lost their all-state quarterback, Johnny Bilby. And then Barry Sweet, the backup quarterback last year, decided not to play football this year. So their quarterbacking situation was in a dilemma between Brian Paxton, who's a junior, and the gentleman that just threw the pass, senior Turk Davis, who hasn't played any quarterback since his freshman year. Third down and 10. Coming up, Davis, one of the many members that were returned for Ray Rhines on the basketball squad this year. And the Chieftains should be tough in both the boys and the girls this upcoming basketball season.
Ray Rhines ball club going to the Tournament of Champions, and you're right, Don, both ball clubs at Sapulpa basketball is going to be very tough.
Got a timeout on the field as the Chieftains came to the line and almost called for delay of game on this 3rd down and 10 yards needed to maintain possession. So Frank Graham walks out and talked to his quarterback and the rest of his offensive squad. Frank Graham, second year at Sapulpa after formerly at East Central, then left to go to Texas and then came back. And there's Bill Scott in his 19th season at Bristow. 178 wins, former president, as my partner J.B. Haney, the Oklahoma Coaches Association.
Bill had a very successful convention this year, Don, in Tulsa. Of course, he'll be coming back to Tulsa next year. Bill Scott, a Hall of Famer, be in charge of the Hall of Fame banquet next year. Very active in the Coaches Organization, very well respected, and why not? With his record, my goodness, it's just incredible what he's done at Bristow High School.
Looking for their 10th district title in the last 11 seasons. And speaking of the Hall of Fame, nice to see Jinx Perry Beaver and Ray Hall, who used to be at Owasso, as turn it around there, as coaches being inducted among many over the summer to the Coaches Hall of Fame. Ray Hall, the only coach to take 2 different schools to back-to-back state championships. 3rd and 10 from the Bristow 35, and after the penalty, or after the near penalty, I think we've got a call on the Bristow sideline.
Looks like he may have tossed a flag over there on a coach who could have been out on the field a couple of yards. Getting a little picky tonight here. That's what it was. Certainly will help the effort here of the Chieftains, moving them right on down to the 30-yard line.
So it'll move it down to the 30, just a 5-yard penalty for delay of game instead of unsportsmanlike conduct. Makes it 3rd and 5. A much easier situation, I would think, for the Chieftains, who trail 12-7 after leading 7-0 after one period. Davis gets pressure and sets up the screen beautifully. Dennison hangs on to it and gets a couple down to the 28-yard line. That'll set up 4th down and about 3. We'll see if the Chieftains go for it. In years past, they've had kickers that could kick field goals from this distance.
That was a hard-earned 3 yards there that time. You can see that Kirk Davis dropping back, and he finally flares out here to Dennison, and not much room. Bobbles the ball a little bit, which prevents him from getting a good start. From then on, it's just going to be trouble for him. So see, they just swarm him.
34, Terry Holt there, along with 74, Ron Lawrence, one of the starting linebackers. After a gain of 2, it's 4th and 3. In the Bristow 28, the Chieftains need a big play here, and instead have problems and will be called for procedure. Oh, that hurts them.
It's a big call, and that makes it tough now.
That really does.
Always kind of amazes you that start off, they'll play a quarter and very few penalties, and it seems like as the game progresses, more penalties. Of course, kids get a little tired. They'll make more errors when that happens.
So it'll be 4th and 8 back at the Bristow 33-yard line. However, they'll go back to punt. Dewerson has had a good night punting. He'll try to pin them inside the 10, and it's out of bounds. Hits at the 10-yard line. And we'll see where the official marks it. He's going to mark it up at the 15-yard line with 9:43 to go, 3rd period, after a punt of 18 yards. We appreciate you watching high school sports on United Artists Cable Channel 3. We're coming back to Sapulpa after these messages from some of the people that have made this broadcast possible.
GMC is open late on Thursdays.
Early going 3rd period. Bristow with the ball in a 5-point lead of 12-7, trying to push the cushion. Oh, that's racing terms. I'm sorry. Freddie Hayes gets the call from the 15-yard line. He scrambles up to the 26. Freddie Hayes has 11 and the 8th first down of the game for Bristow. Pushing the cushion.
Is that like pedal to the metal? That's exactly what Freddie Hayes does here. Comes over and he cuts back to his right. Big, strong kid there. Well, he's not big, he's strong, though. 210 pound. Takes a host of them to get him down there. 82 finally piles on Darren McMahon. Or Morgan, I guess it is, isn't it?
One of the defensive ends for the Chieftains. First down from the 26. This is Hayes again up to the 35-yard line, and he does remind you a lot of the All-State fullback they had last year, Freddie Hall, who was our player of the game last year in the Sapulpa-Bristow game. And that reminds me to remind you that after this game, we will, in our wrap-up, have players of the game for each squad. Each player will receive a plaque for their own possession, and the schools receive a larger plaque for their school trophy cases, and all of those plaques courtesy of our fine friends at All-American Trophy.
Freddie Hayes scored 5 touchdowns last year, so he got in quite a bit of action.
Gain of 8 on the last play, 2nd and 2. From the 35-yard line. Counter play, Wyckoff. And he's up to the 44 and a first down. And Bristow's offensive line starting to open up some holes for the fullback Hayes and the halfback Travis Wyckoff.
You can see Russell Brown in there plays left guard, number 77. Really springs a good block here that Wyckoff cuts off from him. See the block right there? Just allows him to turn upfield. Great execution, and that's nothing new when you look at that old wing T offense that Bill Scott runs.
How about that free kick for a field goal at the end of the first half? I said if you can run the wing T, you can go for free kicks or field goals.
That's right.
First down from the 44. Nice handoff, slick handoff from Shamus to the running back, who gets nothing on that play.
And guess who's in on the tackle?
Craig Arthur,
you
72.
got it. Craig Arthur, number 72. Really plays the defensive line in great fashion.
Freddie Hayes, 11th carry of the game. He leads all rushers in that department. And gains a yard to make it 2nd down 9 from the 45-yard line. Again, if you're watching this on Saturday evening in the Tulsa or Sapulpa area, we invite you to join Bill Land and Robbie Robertson for the complete game replay of the Tulsa-Oklahoma State game on this channel from Scully Stadium.
The 7:30 ball game next Friday night, and then we'll return home the following.
And then you can watch the replay, coaches' highlights anyway, of that ball game Sunday night. on Channel 3, whether it be Pat Jones or Dave Rader on United Artists Cable Channel 3. After a gain of a yard at second down, 9 yards needed from the 45, inside handoff Alexander, and he stopped shy of the 50. They'll mark it at about the 48, maybe the 49-yard line. Gain of 3 as they mark it at the 48, and Alexander, who the Bristow coaches feel is their most electrifying or best open field runner, has been pretty well stymied today.
Really, he has great potential because of his quickness and because of his speed, and they think that he'll get better, of course, every ball game, and he shows a lot of potential on that back across the end.
Bristow has had the ball for quite a while now. Under 7 minutes to go, third period. They've had it for over right at 3 minutes now. Now 3rd and 6. Can Sapulpa stop them and get the ball back? Screen pass incomplete to Wyckoff. Shamus really threw a bullet. Wyckoff couldn't hang on to it, and the defensive coverage applied by Rod Davis out of his free safety position.
Something Bill Scott's team does so well, Don. They'll get the lead on you. They'll grind that clock out and keep it down. And they won't pass unless it's just a very obvious situation that they have to, which was the case then, but they'll kill a lot of ticks off the clock.
So it'll be a punting situation for Dowdy.
Punting for the Pirates will be number 88, John Dowdy.
John Dowdy, 6'1", 195 senior, one of the co-captains for this game. 2-year letterman and a returning starter at defensive end.
Now we have a timeout on the field charge to the Pirates.
Timeout called by the Pirates as they lead 12-7. Sapulpa leading 7-0 after 1 period. Scoring on a 24-yard touchdown pass from Turk Davis to Karama English. Bristow scoring on the first play of the 2nd period on a touchdown pass of 7 yards from Shamus to Brian Pinson. The extra point was no good when Shamus couldn't handle the snap for the extra point kick to tie the game. Shamus tried to run it in and was tackled. So Bristow, even though they scored, they still trailed 7-6. However, they then recovered a fumble inside the Sapulpa 5-yard line, and Neil Spencer bolted in from 4 yards out. They went for 2, and it also failed, and that being the halftime score of 12-7, and that's where we stand here with 6:40 to go in the 3rd period.
Don, really looking forward to next week. As you mentioned earlier, we're going to be telecasting 3 high school events, and for the first time, girls fast pitch softball, East Central and Broken Arrow, and that may be a first in the state.
Dowdy's 2 punts, 7 and 51 yards. Figure that out. And this one is a boomer that sends Van inside the 10-yard line to the 15. Ooh, he's smothered at the 20-yard line. Great punt of 49 yards by John Dowdy, and the return by Shannon Van from the 9 up to the 20. And Shannon Van is one of the candidates for our player of the game for the Chieftains. He's close to 70, 80 yards in return yardage tonight.
Does an excellent job back there. Only 141-pounder. See Turk Davis coming back on the field. Looks like he's going to do most of the quarterbacking the rest of the way.
He's had runs of 19 and 29 yards in this game, and has thrown the only touchdown of the game for Sapulpa. Not much doing that time, and a gentleman that has really had a tough time tonight against the Purple Pirate defense is Kevin Dennison.
Really looks like that those linebackers are keying in on Kevin Dennison because he had a real good game last year, if you recall, and he comes up this year and he's not quite having that game, and we see him take the handoff here, hits the line, and he makes a good cut to his right, but you can see big number 86 right in there on top of him, of course, Brian Pinson.
He's played a great game. He also a candidate for player of the game on the Bristow side. After a gain of a yard, 2nd and 9, and they've got double receivers to the near side, one on the far side. And Davis looks to the left, throws for Dennison off his fingertips, and defensive pressure applied on the corner by David Shamus, 6'1", 170 junior, who's also the quarterback, as we'll take a replay. They're trying to get the ball into Dennison's hands as much as possible, Coach.
Yeah, he gets out there in the open. It looks like he might be able to complete the pass, but I believe Shamus must have got his hand on it just a little bit there. Good position. He goes up, and he does tip the ball just a little, knocks it away where it can't be held in there by Dennison. Good play there by Shamus.
Tristan Cherry comes out of the game. And I believe it's 15. Or not Tristan Cherry, but Pat Fees comes out at wide receiver, and Clay Durson comes in, wide receiver each side. And we've got a flag, and we'll see what this is. Might be encroachment against Sapulpa. Procedure against the Chieftains. So that's another mistake that the Chieftains could not stand right now. So a 5-yard penalty will move it back inside the 20 to the 16 and make it 3rd down and 14 as we take a look on the offensive line.
Yeah, you can see the tackle on the far side over there move a little bit just as the snap was, before the snap actually was made, and that's where they get the procedure penalty.
Rod Davis comes out at wide receiver. Pat Fees comes in. Dennison comes in as a flanker on the near side. And Clay Dewerson goes to the right with only one running back. I believe that's Undernear, the sophomore, who blocks for Davis, who throws to Fees, who hangs on to it at the 32-yard line. That's just enough for a Chieftain first down on 3rd and 14. They'll mark it at the 33.
And what a blow in there, Justin Battenfield put on Fees. He comes out of the near side here and cuts over the middle. And when he cuts over the middle, he's really looking back inside. You know he has to be thinking he's going to get hit, but nevertheless, he follows the ball right straight in his hands all the way. And you can see the blow that's going to be delivered in there by Battenfield, and he really bratted him good.
Well, that's a big play. With 5 minutes to go, 3rd period, and the Chieftains down by 5, 12-7. Trying to get something going from their own 20. They've marched up to the 33-yard line thanks to Turk Davis passing. And this, a fake to Undernear. Davis jitterbugs to the 40. 45, 50-yard line. He's got another Sapulpa first down. And we'll have another first down play upcoming for the Chieftains. And this guy, Turk Davis, seems to be the electricity for the Sapulpa offense.
He really does, Don. He goes out on that option, and it makes it tough. They think he's going to make the pitch, but he plants his foot and goes upfield, and he's looking better at that quarterback position all the time. Look back on this, and that pass on the last down in there to Fees, that could be one of the big plays of the game.
We spoke of the Sapulpa assistants who have been with this school a long time. Mike Barnes, Charlie Dugan, Robert Lively. Well, Bristow has the same going on their side of the football with Bill Scott. We'll talk about it after this play, which finds Undernear. David Undernear, the sophomore fullback, gets a great haul. And he drives from midfield down to the 36-yard line. 14-yard run for the sophomore.
David Undernear suddenly come alive in here and is doing a good job carrying the football. And you can see him on this play here when he gets the handoff in there. He cuts back to his left and, again, finds that opening. Really looking for the crease, looking for the seam. It makes a good effort in there as far as a run.
Make sure he hangs on to the football.
Yes, wrap it up in there when Freddie Hayes hits him.
Last 3 plays, 17, 17, and 14 yards for the Chieftains against the second-ranked Bristow Purple Pirates. 3:45 to go, 3rd period. No flag. Davis on the option, keeps, and gets about 3 to the 33-yard line. Tackle made by Bristow's 35, Freddie Hayes, out of the linebacking position, as well as David Shamus out of the secondary.
You were talking about that Bristow coaching staff, did you say, Don? Some 88 years, is that what you said? 88 years of experience, add all of those guys up. That's almost a century, isn't it?
A lot of years. 2nd and 7 from the Bristow 33, and their working together has paid off with Bristow winning so many district championships. I think it's 15 in the last 18 years. Their defense rises to the occasion on that play. Gain of just a yard to the 32 makes it 3rd down and 6. David Caldwell on the stop. Third and 6 again for for Sapulpa, and this is a big 3rd down play as Bill Scott paces the sidelines. 2 wide receivers to the right side, Dewerson and Dennison, and Rod Davis to the left. As Turk Davis goes back, looks for Rod Davis, fires, Davis has it! It's a touchdown, and the Chieftains are in front. Another big 3rd down play for Sapulpa.
Turk Davis to Rod Davis, and he is gaining more confidence and more poise as the game goes along.
Rod Davis down in the end zone. That's his first catch of the season, and his first touchdown, obviously, of the season, as John Jocelyn from Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center down to look at Rod. Again, Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center back for their 4th season as one of our sponsors on high school sports on United Artists Cable.
And Dirk Davis really picking out Rod Davis, who had gotten into the secondary, and from then on, no one's going to touch him. He goes in to bring Sapulpa back up in front by 1.
We'll see what he does here. He pulls up lame right there. Appeared to be his left ankle. Frank Grimm, who coached the Oklahoma Thunder a long time before the Outlaws even came to town. And Dave Rader was his quarterback. They're going for 2. Davis, pressure. And he just had to dump it off. Undernear almost got to eat the football. The pass fails, and with 2:39 to go in the 3rd period, Sapulpa has electrified their home crowd with a 32-yard touchdown pass, and they're in front, 13-12. When we come back for the 3rd quarter kickoff, high school football continues from Sapulpa, United Artists Cable, Channel 3.
There are 500,000 children in public schools in Oklahoma. If we destroy education...
Rod Davis, who made the touchdown catch, comes back after suffering leg cramps, getting some water. Imagine John Jocelyn of Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center saying, hey, get some water.
Get some fluid in your body.
So the Chieftains, after an 8-play, 80-yard drive and some great plays, the 3rd down pass, JV, to Pat Thies. They needed 14, got 17. You said that would be the play that would possibly propel them into the lead, and it certainly did. Davis ran for 17, then under near the fullback for 14, then the 32-yard touchdown pass.
That was really a key play, Don, because the drive looked like it just stopped, and suddenly there they are with the 1st down again.
A couple of big 3rd down plays in that drive. Whitehall scoots out past the 20-yard line, and we'll see how the Purple Pirates will do here in their offensive series as they'll start from what appears to be the 25-yard line.
In this portion of the game, down toward the end of the 3rd period, the end of the 4th period, you're going to see the depth begin to play a big role, and how many people they've been resting and how many have to go both ways. And I've been watching David Shamus in there for Bristow playing both ways, and that's a lot to ask of a quarterback, but yet your quarterback's always one of your best athletes, and you have to use him wherever you can, but a lot of times the depth will make the difference right down at the end.
And we started our broadcast by talking about Bristow, a 3A school, against Sapulpa, a 5A school. And we'll see if that has anything to do with the depth. The Shamus loses the football, but gets it back at the 21-yard line.
Was that a quick reaction on the part of David Shamus once the ball popped out? Why, it was just almost like a magnet. You see him come down the line there, and when it is popped out, why, he's certainly going to get right back on it. You can see the quick reaction. I don't think he'd teach that, Don. See the ball pop out, but look at him. He's not going to be denied. Boom, he's right back on it. I don't think he can teach that, do you?
No. And he doesn't appear to be too tired because he did react very quickly.
Yes, he did.
So after the loss of 4 on 2nd down, they tried to get the 4 yards back. And Freddie Hayes appears to have done so. He gets 3 of them back anyway. And we'll make it 3rd down and 11 upcoming. So the Pirates, even though they've got a minute and a half left in this 3rd period and then another 12 in the 4th.
There's Frank Grimm, the head coach of the Chieftains, talking to his players up and down the sidelines.
They don't beat, Bristow doesn't seem to have pushed the panic button. Shamus, pressured by Arthur, throws the dump, and it's beautifully covered by the Sapulpa defense. And give credit to Rob James, 5'11", 160 junior linebacker who was injured in the Muskogee scrimmage last week, but has come back and makes a big-time defensive play for the Big Blue.
Needless to say, that was a big play, and you can see the screen being set up on the far side over there, and it was set up beautifully, but Rob James just smells it out. Once the ball comes in there, it is complete. See the screen, but James is right there in behind it. No gain. Lineman take off, but no runner behind it.
Back to punt, John Dowdy. He's had a 7-yard punt, his first punt, but those last 2 have been beauties. This one hits at the 50. Picked up and down by Van at the 47-yard line. 25 seconds to go, 3rd period.
47-yard line where the Chieftains will take over 1st and 10.
So Sapulpa will get great field position after the punt by John Dowdy, and it's again a pleasure to thank one of our sponsors for high school sports for the 1991-92 season, and that is Joe Williams and the rest of the Williams companies, one of our sponsors for high school sports, as well as Children's Medical Center, Oklahoma Junior College, Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center, and Arby's. And a lot of Sapulpa people sponsoring this program in Bristow. We'll certainly want to mention that in a few minutes.
Picked up 2 yards, close to the 50-yard line. Brings up a second.
Much going into that time. Looks like that Sapulpa defense has really begun to tighten up as the third period comes to an end.
And they won't have far to change sides of the ball because they're in midfield. And when we come back, the Chieftains have the football in a 1-point lead, 13-12 after 3 periods from Sapulpa on United Artists Cable Channel 3, who urges you to be drug-free.
Oklahoma Orthopedic Center.
Neil Spencer, one of the co-captains, number 14 there for the Purple Pirates. He was a quarterback and now playing defensive end. He had 6 sacks last year. 6 foot 175 senior who has a 3.16 grade point average. That's nice to see.
Absolutely. Always want to commend the student athlete that carries that high grade point average, 3-point or better, because that's what it's all about. And you know, all of our sponsors on the telecast, Don, is interested in the kids saying no to drugs, staying in school, and hitting the books.
2nd and 7 from midfield for Sapulpa, who leads 13-12 after leading at one time 7-0, then trailing 12-7. Nice pitch. Kevin Dennison gets roughed up as he hits the new Sapulpa track. We'll see if he's up and okay, but that was a nice pitch by Turk Davis with the left hand. As JB had mentioned, he hadn't been pitching. They were going to close it off, and they seemed to have done so that time. Davis made the nice pitch to Dennison.
Last couple of 3 times that he had run that option when it looked like Dennison was trailing and was in the open, and here you can see nice pitch out there, and Dennison's able to pick up a few yards. Looks like maybe he got a first down on it, but great play in their execution by Turk Davis, the quarterback.
Down to the Bristow 41 after a gain of 9, and that's the best run of the night for Kevin Dennison, who really electrified the Bristow and Sapulpa crowd last year at Hayford Field in Bristow. He played a whale of a game last year at 5'6", 160, now a senior. Play action by Davis. Complete inside the 35 to the 32-yard line to Karama English, who caught the touchdown pass in the first period.
Another nice throw in there that time by Turk Davis, but a flag on the play on the far side, so this one may be a knot.
Gain of 9, and it could very well come back. Sapulpa, which had 3 first downs at halftime, now with 9.
Here we can take a look at Turk Davis coming out, and doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it off. He goes up, takes quite a blow in there, but is able to complete it to English.
He used a little basketball ability there with that jump pass, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But the 9-yard gain on first down is taken away. And this is going to be a major penalty against the Chieftains. An eligible receiver downfield.
Again, that happens a lot of times when your quarterback is scrambling in the backfield and waits a long time before he delivers the ball, while that lineman kind of loses sense of direction where he is and gets off downfield, maybe thinking he is going to go ahead and run it, and they'll catch him.
Sapulpa fans applauding because they say it's just a 5-yard penalty. Is it? Well, never mind. I don't want to start anything on the first game of the season against the officials. I get confused sometimes. 1st and 15 from the Bristow 46 on whether it's 5-yard, 10-yard penalties. Davis, he's pressured. He gets away from one man, got away from Spencer, gets away from another, and it is incomplete. Looking downfield for Russell Jones, one of the tight ends. And I believe it was Battenfield, Justin Battenfield for the Pirates, who tried to come up with the interception.
Just really putting a lot of pressure back there on Turk Davis, the quarterback, number 3 for the Savola. You see him drop back in there, and suddenly the line begins to leak, and you know he's going to be taken down there. He gets free, comes on back around, and finally he gets the ball off, but he's going to take another blow. And well, we don't see that, but he took another blow in there again, and they're giving him a little punishment in there.
Well, the effort tonight by all the players has been outstanding. None more so than that gentleman quarterback, senior Turk Davis for Sapulpa, and Travis Wyckoff, who has played both ways for Bristow. 2nd and 15. Quick look in, and Wyckoff comes up. Now they say he did not make the interception. He trapped it at the 30-yard line.
I think that's a good call by the official, because most of the time you can read the reaction of the players. And Travis Wyckoff, he didn't say a word. His teammates were all trying to indicate that it was a fair catch, but Travis didn't say a word, so I'm sure that he trapped it off the turf. And we can take a look here, and you can see the ball. Gosh, from that angle, although I believe he dropped it right there, you can see it go down right there. It's on the ground, and he didn't have complete control of it. So good call in there by the official.
Last year, Bristow losing their season opener, then reeling off 11 straight wins before losing to Uligaw in the quarterfinals of the 3A state tournament, losing to Sapulpa 14-7 in overtime. This one again down to the wire. 11:32 to go in the 4th period. The Chieftains have the ball and a 1-point lead of 13-12, but they get assessed a 5-yard penalty for delay of game, which will move them back inside their own territory at the 49-yard line. The Chieftains have been their own worst enemy in this game, Coach, fumbling inside the 5-yard line, which gave Bristow a 12-7 halftime lead. And now the penalties. They are over 100 yards in penalties now. We're right at 83 yards in penalties. But Turk Davis, over 100 yards in total offense. 2 touchdown passes. 1 to Karama English, 1 to Rod Davis. And he's back to put it upstairs again. We let that one fly, and that's intercepted. That was an ill-advised pass that time. And Freddie Hayes makes him pay for it. And Bristow 65 yards away from taking the lead with 11 and a half minutes to go as the Pirate fans are on their feet.
Freddie Hayes really moving quickly and backpedaling, getting in position that time on the pass, and was just in perfect position from his linebacking position to make the interception up. And sure hands. Of course, the tackle was made in there immediately by Dennison, but great play in there by Freddie
Hayes. Sapulpa trying to get off to a good start like they did last year when they beat Bristow in overtime and then won their first 4 games of the season. Finished 6-4. One of their biggest wins of the season last year was upsetting Enid. Comes into the season as the #1 team in the state. They upset Enid at Plainsman Field, 24-21. And we got a player down, at least 1, maybe 2 for the Chieftains, as Freddie Hayes made the carry. And got some good yardage on 1st down from the 34 up to about the 42-yard line. For 7 or 8 yards, it'll be 2nd down and short for Bristow. After we take a look at the 5A rankings, and we mentioned Enid on top of the rankings to start the 1991 campaign. Lawton Ike, defending state champions at #2. Muskogee 3, Midwest City. Now about those Jinx Trojans with Warren Lancaster ranked #5.
That's a pretty tough district in there with Jinx and Enid. I mean, you know, both of the 5A districts, Don, when you look at them on this side of the state, you say, gosh, when you look at Enid, and you look at Jinx, and you look at Broken Arrow, and you look at Union, and they're all tough, and Washington, and Stillwater always coming through, Muskogee. There are 2 tough 5A districts on this side of the state.
And Sapulpa next week will be at Jinx.
That's a big ball game.
Look at Craig Arthur, one of the players injured, walks off okay. Well, he is a tough cookie. He got speared by one of his own teammates. Here's Hayes on 2nd and 3. 1st down run up the midfield. My, wrestle him down, they do.
Freddie Hayes on the carry picks up about 10 for a hard 1st down.
They'll mark it just shy of the 50 at the 49-yard line. Gain of 8. And Bristow on the move. 10:30 to go in regulation, trailing 13-12. And that is the first down in quite a while for the Pirates, their 10th of the game.
And this is the area practiced on that you really work on when you get down into the last 10 minutes of the 4th quarter, and it really tells you what your kids are made out of.
Man in motion. Wyckoff, handoff up the middle. That is Wyckoff. First down to the 40-yard line. Man in motion was Terry Holt. Defense went with him. They went the other way with Wyckoff, and he is having some kind of evening to start the 1991 season. Nice handoff.
Really nice handoff, and that's kind of a crossbuck going back the opposite direction for Wyckoff. And just one of the basic plays out of the wing T set. Bill Scott's run that play. There's no telling how many hundred times for yardage.
Gain of 10 on the last play by Wyckoff. Another first down for the Pirates. They seem to be on the move at the Sapulpa 39-yard line. Freddie Hayes tries his luck. And he pounds his way down to the 35-yard line. Clock approaching 9.5 minutes remaining.
See the coaches pacing the sideline over here, trying to yell encouragement to their defense, talking about the Sapulpa coaches wanting them to make a stop. They feel like in a situation like this, Don, with the clock running and 9 minutes to go, that if they gain possession of it one more time, why, then they can put a lot of pressure on the Purple Pirates. But of course, Bristow again would like to continue this march and go down and take the lead and then put the pressure back on Sapulpa. The timeout for an equipment repair on the field.
Well, next week we mentioned our triple header that we'll have for you in high school sports on Channel 3. It will start next weekend with a great girls softball game between two good ranked, well-ranked teams, Broken Arrow and defending state champion East Central.
And what a game that's going to be. Two great pitchers, and Don, we may see a few strikeouts in that game.
We might. Then followed up by a couple of great rivals in football. Cashel Hall against Holland Hall, Washington against McLean. This is Alexander with his most spirited run of the night. He's close to a first down and has it by a couple of yards. Inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Good for about 8 yards, 9 yards for Cladell Alexander. Bob Vest, our producer-director, says, JV, dissect it for us.
And you can see Clydell Anderson here tucking the ball, holding on to it from a football family himself. And once he gets inside that line, watch his feet. I mean, he cuts off the blockers exceptionally well. You can see him coming across. He's going to be a great athlete in there, Don.
From the 28-yard line, Clydell's uncle Ted Alexander, the head coach of the Hornets. And we'll see you again next week against McLean. Freddie Hayes tries his luck. He's wrestled to the turf by 47, defensive tackle Charlie Goolsby, who I believe wore, well, his number was in the 70s. I think it was 72 last year for Goolsby. They switched him to 47 because they hope he'll play some fullback this year.
You know, Ron Lawrence, the right guard in there, number 74 for Bristow, really has waited his turn first year to start. He's a senior. He's only about 140 pounds, but he has really been playing well and pulls and leads a lot of the backs on into the hole.
Watch this offensive line work here for Hayes. Hayes inside the 25 to about the 22-yard line, making the stop. Co-captain Mike Walker, 6'1", 215-pound senior. And Bristow pounding away, and the clock is getting down to the nitty-gritty now. 7.5 minutes to go. Pirate fans anticipating a possible win here at Sapulpa and to snap the Chieftains' 3-game winning streak against Bristow.
And again, the Sapulpa coach is really yelling encouragement out there to the defensive team, wanting them to get up and show some leadership, stop the drive, and on the other side of the ball, while Bristow realizes they have to keep it going.
3rd and 5, as you see from the Sapulpa 23-yard line. 23, Wyckoff in motion, flag down, and they'll halt the play right here, according to the referee, Charlie Payne. And we'll have delay of game against Bristow. Boy, that could turn out to be a big, big mistake on the Bristow part.
I believe I've seen as many delay of games as we've seen a quick clock someplace, maybe, or a quick counter. Coach Scott wasn't too happy with that call. He immediately goes down to the linesman and wants to know who's keeping the clock, who's calling it.
Well, the clock is off to the right of the field, the end zone to our right. Charlie Payne, his back is to him, but the back judge on the defensive side of the ball can look right at the clock and make the determination. 3rd and 10, Shanless has to go upstairs, overthrows his receiver, Alexander. Shannon Van and Rod Davis on the coverage. It'll be 4th down, and I'm sure the Pirates will go for it. With 7:07 to go in the game, they're down by a point.
Great defensive secondary coverage that time by the Chieftains because they had Clydell Alexander just totally covered up. They had him double-teamed and just absolutely no way that David Shamus was going to complete that pass. And this sets up a very, very crucial 4th down. You can see Shamus rolling out to the near side and picking out his receiver, but there's just no way that Clydell's going to get him double-teamed down there. If it caught in there, it could have been an interception.
Well, we're going to try a field goal. Interesting. Terry Holt is going to try a 45-yard field goal, and now they need to call timeout so they don't get called for delay of game again. This field goal is short by about 2 yards. Wow, right on the money by Terry Holt, but just short. And that shows you the disappointment in Terry Holt. And Bill Scott says, shake it off, get up. We've got 7 more minutes to play.
You know, that was 45-yarder if he'd made it, Don, and that was, as you said, that couldn't have been over 2 or 3 yards short, but it was going right on line. Great leg that he's got in there. Now the clock, a very, very important factor. 7 minutes remaining, and I know Coach Grimm's telling his kids to try to maintain possession. Don't fumble. Don't give an opportunity back on their end of the field.
I'll tell you what, that's exactly what he's got to be saying, because remember, they fumbled inside the 5 to give Bristow the lead, 12-7 at halftime, and then the last time they had the ball was intercepted by Hayes, and that was 4.5 minutes ago. They get the ball back. Davis gets popped inside the 20-yard line in the backfield. He'll lose about 10 yards on that play, and he got roughed up by a couple of purple people eaters that time.
That's right. Russell Brown, the left guard, really came charging in there that time, and he really didn't give Davis an opportunity to run the option. Number 77, you see him come in there, and, I mean, he puts the hammer on him quickly.
They say he likes to hit, and he showed us why right there, and he got help from another great young ball player, 86 Brian Pinson, 6'5", 220-pound sophomore, playing both ways at offensive tackle and defensive end. And again, Pinson played last year as a 9th grader. And Russell Brown, also a sophomore. He started at tight end last year as a freshman.
Another penalty. I didn't see the flag being thrown out there.
I didn't see what the call was. Substitution infraction is the call. So the clock running. 5-yard penalty against Bristow.
It's certainly a big break for the Chieftains in here.
So it's 1st and 5. From the 33, Davis straight handoff. Dennison almost broke it. He gets up to the 30, and he'll be close to a 1st down. They needed to get to the 30-yard line.
It'll be very close. Looks like they're going to bring it out. No, I believe Charlie Payne is indicating that it is a 1st down, and it allows them to take another couple of minutes off the clock, Don, if they can maintain possession. You're going to find the Bristow Purple Pirates really digging in on this. They're going to be maybe tackling for the football. Some hard hitting is going to take place, and secondary is going to have to be like glue.
The offense has really come alive for Sapulpa in this second half. They had less than 50 total yards and only 3 first downs at halftime. This guy has electrified them. Turk Davis, he gets gang tackled at the 32-yard line. And indeed, the Pirates are applying some punishment to the Sapulpa quarterback, who's very slow in getting up.
They're really applying the pressure. They made some defensive adjustments in there that's really taken the option away, and they're just filling every gap as they come across and not giving Davis an opportunity to do anything. You can see 35 there coming in real quickly, Freddie Hayes, and just closing it out.
A lot of white shirts there, and a lot of people enjoying the action here at George F. Collins Stadium to kick off the 1991 season.
Coaches like to see on defense, they like to see 2, 3, 4 of those defensive players coming right on the ball, and they pursue very well. Both teams, excellent pursuit on defense. John Jocelyn again coming out from the Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center. Right on top of it.
Look at the replay of the first play back after the injury that the player was taken off.
like he was really trying to throw it away, but I believe it was John Downey in there that made the recovery.
And Freddie Hayes scores a touchdown for Bristow with 4.5 minutes left in the game. From 15 yards out, what a turn of events. A Bristow injury in which they have to haul the player off, unfortunately, into an ambulance. And then the next play, I'm not sure if it was John Dowdy or Brian Pinson, smashing the quarterback, Turk Davis, who fumbled, and then Hayes turns right around and scores from 20 yards out, and the Pirates of Bristow on the board and with the lead with 4.5 minutes to go.
And I think you could look for someone like Freddie Hayes to do it, and he really burst through there, Don, in scoring for Bristow.
They'll go for 2, up by 5. They need 2 points. Hayes can't get it as they go right up the middle. And we'll replay the touchdown here and let you look. After the injury timeout, we had a power failure. We come back. You saw the play where the quarterback was apparently sacked or put his arm forward, but here's the touchdown after the controversial call in which they ruled it a fumble.
And Freddie Hayes that time, you could see, Don, he breaks about 3 tackles. He wasn't going to be denied. He was going to put the Purple Pirates up, which he did.
So 2 fumbles, 1 inside the 5, 1 at the 20-yard line, have given the Pirates an 18-13 lead with 4.5 minutes to go, and Bill Scott is 4 minutes and 31 seconds away from his 180th win, 179th win, excuse me. 178 wins in 18 seasons at Bristow.
It's going to be a tough 4 minutes and 30 seconds on defense as far as Bristow's concerned, and Sapulpa's got to put something together quickly.
This is Duerson. They kick it away from Shannon Van, and Duerson gets Sapulpa in pretty good shape up to the 33-yard line.
Almost a replay of last year's, Don, because it just went to the wire and over. So was that single or double overtime?
Single overtime, I believe.
No way this was going to be an overtime, though. I don't think we can score 5 points in here, do you?
Well, I don't know. But I wouldn't think so. High formation set up for the Chieftains. Wayne Broom at fullback. Dennison at tailback. And, we wouldn't have another flag, would we? Let's see. The center is Walker, 62. Quarterback, Turk Davis. Tight end off to the left. They go left. Dennison smashed. After he gets to the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a yard, maybe 2 yards if he's lucky. They have wrapped him up, haven't they?
Really, the right side of the line, Neil Spencer coming in that time, made a great play, defensive end, and really closed down on them. And they've stopped the option. They pretty much stopped Sapulpa here in the last quarter and a half.
Dennison on the night, 9 carries, 28 yards. His longest rush, 9 yards. So he has been kept in wraps. Gain at 2, up to the 35. We're to 2nd down 8. Davis has time, airs it out and overthrown for Dennison.
Nice defense in there that time on the part of Travis Wyckoff for Bristow. He really didn't take the cut a man over the center and sent Dennison sprinting down the sideline, but Wyckoff went right with him.
We thought the injured player a while ago was 88 Dowdy, but Dowdy is in the game. So we are unsure as of this moment who the injured player was that was taken away by ambulance, and we hope that player is okay eventually. He was, after he got hit, his head snapped back. Then the pile fell on him. 3rd down 8 from the 35. Big play for Davis. Incomplete. Looking for Rod Davis. And it'll be 4th down. And back to the injury of the Bristow player. He fell down trying to make the tackle, and somebody kicked him in the head and popped his neck back. Then the pile of 4 or 5 players fell on top of him, and after they unpiled, he got up, or attempted to get up, and then fell back. They wheeled him into the ambulance and taken him to the hospital, and even though we've seen that many times before, JB, it's not a pretty sight, but most of the time the players do recover and are okay.
You know, you're absolutely right, and they're just not going to take any chances, any doubt whatsoever, what they're going to just immobilize him and take him in to check him.
4th down. They're putting it all on the line, and it's incomplete with 3:17 to go in the game. And now the Chieftain defense has some work to do, as the intended receiver was Karama English.
English cuts down and goes over the middle, as you'll see coming up here on the replay. This may be the last chance that the Chieftains had. The ball was thrown there pretty tight, but almost impossible to catch, and good defensive coverage in there on the part of the Bristow secondary.
Travis Wyckoff, 23, has played a great game for Bristow. A couple of passes he's broken up and has played very well on offense. 1st and 10 at the Sapulpa 35-yard line with 3:17 to go. Wyckoff made the play on defense, gets the call on offense, and zips around for what might be a 1st down. The Bristow fans are on their feet on the far side, and well, they should be.
This stadium seats about 4,400 people, and it looks like if you had all of the people that's standing up, it would be comfortably filled. So around 4,000, Don, looks like on hand here tonight to watch this great in-county rivalry, Bristow and Sapulpa.
It is a 1st down, and Bristow's 14th of the game. They had 7 at halftime, 7 now in the 2nd half. At the Sapulpa 25-yard line. It is a 1st down with 3:11 to go, and the clock stopped after Wyckoff was pushed out of bounds. He's in motion again. Gives a block. And inside the 20, they work it, I think, to Freddie Hayes.
Freddie Hayes on the carry. You're going to see Bill Scott now really go to work with this patented wing T offense. He's going to grind it into the ground and try to keep that clock running all the time. You're not going to see them do anything to kill it. And Sapulpa's going to have to start trying to use their timeouts to stop them.
There's the clock as Craig Arthur tries to rally his defense, as well as the defensive captain, 55, Tony Dunn.
Couldn't ask for a better opening ball game, Don. We expected it.
79 at nose guard, Jay Clark, 6'6", 320. And we've got a flag down. We'll see what this call is. According to Charlie Payne, it is against Bristow for procedure, and that will pretty much delete the fine 6-yard run by Hayes on the previous play, make it 2nd down 9, and move it back to the 24.
And really, this could give Sapulpa another opportunity to gain possession of the ball here in the closing seconds.
And as electrifying as the quarterback Turk Davis has been, the Chieftains aren't out of this thing yet, are they?
No, you can't really count them out until it's over.
4th period action. Great Creek County rivalry between Sapulpa and Bristow. The Pirates with the ball, threatening again, leading by 5. Ooh, good hit by Mike Walker, 62. He finishes off the running back, Cladell Alexander Jr. Alexander on a 2nd down and 9. Gets from the 24 close to the 20. Which will set up 3rd down and 5.
And the clock continues to wind down.
Yes, sir.
Close to 2 minutes remaining.
Next week, a triple header of high school sports. 2 state-ranked girls softball teams, Broken Arrow against defending state champion East Central from Broken Arrow. And then it will be, we'll have another penalty here. Then it will be Cassia Hall, Holland Hall. A great rivalry between those 2 private schools. And then the north side rivalry between 2 state-ranked schools, Booker T. Washington and Tulsa McLean.
Tell me how you could get 3 better rivalries in metro area football than you have right here on the first 3 games we have on United Artists Cable, Don.
Well, this is certainly a rivalry that opens the 1991 season for these 2 county rivals. And again, Sapulpa leading the season, the recent series. These schools played up, I believe, through the 70s, or in the mid-70s, quit playing each other and then revived it again in the 70s. Sapulpa leads, having won 9 of the last 15, including the last 3. But Bristow is a minute 53 away from breaking it. Wyckoff, who's been very successful on that play, not that time.
Looks like we had a flag on the far side again.
24, Rod Davis makes the tackle, along with 15, Clay Dewerson. As Wyckoff gets no gain on the play, Sapulpa calls a timeout with a minute 38 to go, and we understand the injured player that we did see carted off was indeed sophomore Brian Pinson.
Roger Pinson was an All-Stater. That's his brother that played at Bristow last year, Don, and certainly hope the best for Brian. And have to feel like it was precautionary and feel good about he'll be back, I'm sure, with the Pirates.
Sapulpa band looking on. Next week, Sapulpa again at Jinx. Then they're back here at home to take on Nathan Hale and then East Central. Then they open district play at Stillwater, hosting Enid, and the big Enid upset last year is still fresh in the minds of the Sapulpa fans. And then at Booker T. Washington, Owasso, Rogers, and then at Sand Springs, another rivalry for Sapulpa. Boy, they've got a pretty tough schedule when you figure Bristow, Jinx, Stillwater, Enid, Booker T. Washington, and Owasso, and Sand Springs. There's 7 pretty good clubs.
I guarantee when you go through there, why, you've gone through a season of high school football.
On 4th down, Shamus goes for it all, and it's high at the 5-yard line. Oh, incomplete. Incomplete now. And a fine defensive play by Dewerson. I thought he knocked it away. We'll take a look here, Jimmy. I'm not sure if Dewerson actually tipped it away or if it was caught but not controlled once he got out of bounds.
You couldn't really see from our vantage point, but I can assure you one thing, David Shamus really zeroing in on him there, kind of going back across the field, and it looked like momentarily when the ball was in flight it was going to be completed and going in there, but just couldn't believe he tipped it just a little bit. Great play in there defensively.
Nice work. Producer, director Bob Vest, Roger Hess, and our photographers tonight, Rick Scott, Bobby Daniels on top of it. That's a lateral, and Dennison can do nothing with it. In fact, he loses a couple. Recovering the football, but they said it was down. That is Sean Hartnoner for Bristow, a sophomore. So a 2-yard loss to Dennison makes it 2nd and 12. Clock says 1:05, and that pass incomplete, intended for Pat Thieves.
That'll stop the clock and really let the Chieftains kind of reorganize themselves and maybe call a couple of plays in the huddle where they can hurry it up and have 2 or 3 more shots at it.
77 yards away. Both teams have had the lead twice in this contest. Sapulpa scoring midway in the first period. A touchdown pass from Turk Davis to Karama English of 24 yards. Extra point good. First period ended 7-0 Sapulpa. Bristow got a 7-yard touchdown pass on the first play of the second period. Botched the extra point to tie the game. This pass incomplete for Fees, and he takes a shot. 3rd and 4, Terry Holt for the safety position.
That'll make you hear feet coming the next time on it, because Holt really came in on Fees, just caught him at the right time as the ball got there. Good clean hit, one that the receivers have to go through. And you can see when he drifts out there, the ball's thrown pretty well, maybe just a little bit high to get him up in the air, and then boom, you can see him come right under him there. You have to be tough to play this game.
Yes, you do. So after the botched extra point by Bristow, they trailed 7-6. They got a fumble inside the Sapulpa 5-yard line. Scored on the next play from 4 yards out, made it 12-7 at halftime. Sapulpa came back here in the third period to go ahead 13-12, and now it's been Bristow in the fourth period, and that sack, I believe, by Neil Spencer, and Turk Davis took a shot.
He really did, and no one touched Neil Spencer. He comes off the left side over here, and someone must have passed him up or missed an assignment, because he is not touched in any way. You can see him going and just really barreling down on Davis, and just takes him out of the play right there.
Vicious. That's our first sack of the game. Davis comes off on his own power, as you see, checking the right shoulder. He really took a pop. I'm sure he's saying right now, is football worth it?
That was a sting. That was a sting.
He's played very well tonight. 43 seconds to go in the game, and Bristow really in the driver's seat now with 43 seconds to go in the game, ahead 18-13, and at the Sapulpa 15-yard or 16-yard line. So Sapulpa got the lead back after trailing 12-7 at halftime. They got the lead on a 32-yard touchdown pass from Turk Davis to Rod Davis. They went for 2, and the pass failed. So they led after 3 periods, 13-12. But in the fourth period, Sapulpa fumbled when Turk Davis went back to pass. It was ruled, instead of an incomplete pass, which it might have shown on the replay, but it was ruled a fumble. And Freddie Hayes scored from 20 yards out. They went for the two-point run. It failed. Bristow led 18-13. Sapulpa unable in their last two possessions to get a first down. And Bristow now will run out the clock with 30 seconds remaining. They want no part of trying to score any more points in this game, especially after getting a 15-yard personal foul penalty against them. So we've got 20 seconds left as the fans start to file out. And again, a reminder that our friends at All-American Trophy will indeed name our players of the game, or at least give plaques for the players of the game. JV, statistician Steve Scott, and I will have our players of the game. And we'd like to thank not only our main sponsors, whom you'll hear from in a moment, but also the sponsors from Sapulpa who made this possible. J&G Steel, Kennedy Buick, DJ's Char House, All Season Sporting Goods, Citizens Bank of Sapulpa, American National Bank of Bristow, Kirkpatrick Chevrolet, Thompson RMC 711 Bristow, and no repeal on House Bill 1017 of the Sapulpa chapter for growth of Oklahoma. Well, this one comes to a close at Collins Stadium in Sapulpa. Coming back to wrap it up in a moment. Your final score, the second-ranked Class 3A Bristol Purple Pirates defeating the Sapulpa Chieftains 18-13. We're back in just a minute. Haney here to wrap it up as we take a look at the final statistics. Sapulpa playing much better in the second half, at least offensively, finishing with 182 yards. But Bristow, that wing T, coach, 213 yards rushing. Freddie Hayes, the leading rusher, 19 carries, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Sapulpa led 7-0 after one, trailed Bristow 12-7 at halftime, jumped back in the lead 13-12 after 3 periods, but Bristow getting the big fumble at the 20 and then turning it into 7 or 6 points on the next play and winning by a final score here of 18-13.
It was kind of game that I really expected. I thought it would go to the wire like this, and with the injury that occurred out there to Brian Pinson, it seemed like that when Freddie Hayes comes back and gets his hands on the football, he's just bound and determined to take it in, which he did. At that point, it looked like Bristow or Sapulpa was going to be able to hold on, but just a great game, great rivalry, cleanly played, two well-coached teams, and enjoyable to watch.
Sure was. Creek County rivalry finds Bristow now snapping the Sapulpa 3-game winning streak against them. Next week, Sapulpa again on the road at Jinx, and Bristow will open up their home season against the Bixby Spartans. Our players of the game, as usual, we like to give you our players of the game in the wrap-up. And for the Bristow Purple Pirates, we're going to go with Travis Wyckoff. 5'10", 190 junior halfback, played both ways, broke up a couple of passes, and on offense rushed very well. 10 carries for 73 yards. And for the Sapulpa Chieftains?
Really tough, Don, as it is every night, but we're going to go with Turk Davis, the quarterback off the bench, 6'2", 170-pound senior. He had 4 out of 16 through the air, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. He rushed the ball 11 times for 42 yards, and Turk Davis gets the Sapulpa Chieftain player of the game.
And their plaques courtesy of All-American Trophy. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. For statistician Steve Scott, producer-director Bob Vest, and J.B. Haney, Don King inviting you to join us next week for our high school sports triple header. We'll start with girls softball, Broken Arrow against East Central, and then 2 great rivalries in football, starting with Cassia Hall against Holland Hall, Booker T. Washington against McLean. All that next week on United Artists Cable, Channel 3.
You bet.
What is that? Incredible. I tried everything. You know, I put on soft music and my red light bulbs. But the thing is, I mean, since our discussions here, I feel